Welcome to Canton's Fawcett Stadium. We are here for the Division VI State Championship football game today. All pumped up for the Delphos St. John Blue Jays going up against Norwalk St. Paul, the Flyers. Now, Delphos St. John's comes into the football game today on a Saturday morning. 11 o'clock this game is going to get underway. They are 14-0 on the season. The Flyers, they come in at 13-1. It should be a good one. I'm Carl Metzger alongside me for the broadcast today. Of course, Scott Stiles down on the field and Hall of Fame coach Bill Goodwin. Our pregame show is being brought to you by the St. Rita's Medical Center, the region's leader in medical care. From our sports medicine walk-in clinics to 24-hour express and emergency care, that is why there is St. Rita's. And I tell you one thing, we're doing this game in the month of December, and the weather is beautiful. Delphos St. John's has won 43 straight high school football games, and they're ready to play in the championship game again. It could be 3 in a row, Coach Goodwin.
Well, I think we all expect it to be, Carl, and we sure think that they've got the talent to do it, so get on with it, I guess.
Well, we got two teams here we know about St. John's. We've seen them enough times this year, but how about Norwalk St. Paul? The fans that are watching us, of course, realize that a couple of years ago, the Blue Jays played in the championship game against the same team, got down 14-0 real quick, and by the time halftime rolled around, they were back on top, 21-14, ended up winning that game in their first championship by the score of 42-26. And we know that the top running back in that game was a player by the name of Pugh, and they also have another running back on this year's team, another Pugh.
Yeah, but this Pugh's entirely different runner, Carl. The other was more of a scat back outside runner. This kid's a big, strong boy that likes to run up the middle. And I think against St. John's, that's going to be tough to do.
Okay, how about the matchup, Bill, overall? We know about that tough Blue Jay defense. Norwalk St. Paul got the time a kind of team that can come out on the field and put some points up on the board against the Jays?
Well, that's going to be the big key. Nobody's been able to do it all year, and if St. Paul can do it, that's going to surprise us.
Any other big matchups we should be looking for?
I think that's the big one. It's going to be St. Paul's offense against St. John's defense.
Okay, Scott, we've been out here a number of times now. It's great to be back here in Canton. This place is just fantastic, and here to see, hi Bob, here to see another great football game with the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, and of course you'll be down here on the sidelines and looking forward to another one. Should mention the All-Ohio team just came out the other day. We got some more Jays on the first team.
Yeah, they're well represented, Carl, and I believe what you guys were saying earlier, if they can control Aiden McDaniel's throwing ability, force him in the pocket, don't let him scramble, and stop Pugh. Pugh's the straight-ahead bull runner. Delphos will come out with their third straight championship today.
Okay, and we're looking forward to it. And after this game, we're going to have interviews with the winning team, hopefully the Delphos St. John Blue Jays in our fifth quarter. Make sure to stay with us for that. And also we'll do our regular players of the game. Today we've got an offensive player of the game and a defensive player of the game. And we'd like to thank all the sponsors out there that made it possible. Bill and I and Scott Brinkman and the rest of the Fox crew, Ronnie Coons and the gang, are here in Canton, Ohio. Pregame show brought to you by the St. Rita's Medical Center, the region's leader in medical care. From our sports medicine walk-in clinics to 24-hour express and emergency care, that is why there's St. Rita's. Going to take this time out. When we come back, Bill will have the keys to the game for you, and we will check those state championship starting lineups. We'll do all that right after these.
The gym was like a second home to me. And so when I hurt my shoulder and I couldn't do the things I love to do, I knew I needed help. After surgery at St. Rita's and time in the region's only therapy pool, my shoulder's stronger than ever. Thanks to St. Rita's, I'm back in the gym doing what I love to do, with the people I care about most.
For more about St. Rita's Sports Medicine Program, call us. That's why there's St. Rita's.
Let me tell you about this supernatural sense of smell I have. It's telling me I can get 5 roast beef sandwiches for only $5.55. Dig that slow roasted aroma. That's horse's sauce. No, wait, that's Arby's sauce. Any way you dress them up, you get 5 sweet smelling sandwiches for only $5.55. And I understand they look pretty good, too.
You can go anywhere and get filled up, but you can only get the 5 for $5.55 deal at Arby's.
The soybean is considered one of the world's most efficient and affordable sources of food and food protein. Central Soya Company in Delphos is one of our nation's leading manufacturers of oilseed products. A vast array of products are derived from this oilseed, such as baby food, cookies, non-stick cooking spray, soup, breakfast mix, and more. We take pride in our role as a corporate citizen and look forward to future community service. Central Soya Company, serving our customers, our community, and our employees.
How would you like to curl up with a nice, thick instruction manual about water softeners? Me either. Life is just a little too short. That's why Culligan created the worry-free water program. Here's how it works. They do all the work, you don't. All you do is call Culligan, and the Culligan man takes it from there. Hey, Culligan man. So don't just order a water softener. Order a Culligan man. Call Culligan, and let somebody else worry about your water.
Now rent a Culligan water conditioner for just 99 cents a month. Call Culligan for details today.
Building a new home is one of life's most rewarding and exciting experiences. For Ken and Cheryl Miller of Miller Homes, it's been a successful everyday job for over 15 years. The Millers have custom designed and built hundreds of all-American quality homes, from custom ranches to Cape Cods or beautiful two-stories like the Charleston with over 2,900 square feet. Attention to details from start to finish is always overseen by Ken and Cheryl to your satisfaction, making your new home a pleasant experience. Visit the Millers' American-built display models at 3868 Elida Road, Lima.
At Mike Pruitt's Parts Department, we salute all NASCAR fans. Stop in for sale prices on Darryl Jarrett, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, and all the popular Ford drivers. We also have Tony Stewart Habitat for Humanity cards, Jeff Gordon Star Wars and Superman cards, Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. cards. Plus, check out our fine selection of hats, flags, and shirts. Stop in to Mike Pruitt's Parts Department. Nobody beats a NASCAR fan. Nobody.
Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to Canton's Fawcett Stadium, where this morning we've got high school football here on Fox. It's the Division VI state championship game between the Delphos St. John Blue Jays as they come into the ball game 14-0 against the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers. They come in at 13-1, and here come the Flyers out onto the football field getting ready for this big matchup against the Blue Jays. Time right now to find out what the keys are to this championship game, brought to you by Mike Pruitt Ford, where you'll discover for yourself that nobody beats a Mike Pruitt deal. Nobody. And to bring you the keys for this morning, here is Hall of Fame coach Bill Goodwin.
Thanks, Carl. I think the big key to today's game is St. Paul's offense versus St. John's defense. So far, most schools have had a lot of trouble moving the football against the Jays defense. And if St. Paul doesn't do it any better than the previous teams have, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. They had maybe turnovers and special teams, but I think the big key is can St. Paul move the football? Because if you can't move the football, you don't have much chance to win the football game.
Thank you, Bill. Those are your keys, brought to you by Mike Pruitt Ford, where you'll discover for yourself that nobody beats a Mike Pruitt deal. Nobody. Like we told you in the pregame show, the Blue Jays went up against the Flyers a couple of years ago, 42-26 the final there, as it was Vic Whiting, the head coach back then, to win St. John's first state championship. Then last year, of course, they won another state championship, now looking for their 44th consecutive victory and their third straight state championship. Delphos St. John Blue Jays under head coach, and it's a first-year head coach, Todd Schulte, as the Jays have racked up that 14-0 record. And as we go on to this broadcast, we'll tell you about some of the teams St. John's has played, as well as Norwalk St. Paul. Here come the Blue Jays out of the field, getting ready to see this matchup here this morning. Let's go down on the field to Scott Stiles.
Carl, everybody's ready on this side. I talked to Don Heisman just a little bit ago. I said, how's the teams feeling coming down here? They stayed down here. They got down here about 3:30 yesterday, went to the game. They had to be in the rooms by 10 o'clock last night. Anybody caught outside the room wasn't going to play today. He said they had no problems last night. I asked him how Todd Schulte was doing. He said, I tell you what, if he's nervous, he's not showing it because he's awful calm today. And that's the way the team came out, calm and confident. That's the way they're going to play this game today. Back to you.
Scott over there on the sidelines, on the St. John Blue Jays sideline. Bill, as we look across the field, the Jays have really filled up their stands.
Oh, yeah, there's a nice crowd. There's been nice crowds at all the ball games, Carl, and that's what state championships are. Fans really get behind their teams, and not only the towns, but the areas around there. I'm sure there's a lot of Lima Land fans over there with the Jays fans, and we're all here to see St. John's bring back another state championship.
Okay, the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, state semifinalist in 1994, and also this year, of course, runners-up. They have never been runners-up, state champions 1997 and 1998. For Norwalk St. Paul, they have never won a state championship in Division VI football. State runners-up one time back in 1997, state semifinalists 3 times, 96, 97, and of course in 1999. Delphos St. John Blue Jays, the blue and gold assistant coaches, Coach Recker, Coach Morris, Miller, Rohde, Coach Dessenberg, Metzger, Coach Rossman, Burgeye, Ulm, Reynolds, Westridge, Martin, Miller, Lane, and also Dr. Schniegenberg helping out on the sidelines, and the trainer as well, Mr. Lane. So we got all kinds of guys helping out St. John's this year, and they've got their big contingent of players on the sidelines as we're getting ready for this big game, Division VI state championship. Bill will tell you about some of the other games that took place on Friday. He had a chance to check those games out, and we'll mention those as this broadcast continues. And then, Bill, got another couple of games being played yet today.
Yeah, there's 2 more today, 3:30 game and an 8 o'clock game tonight. Division I's tonight with St. Ignatius and Wayne, and the Division IV game this afternoon is between Sandusky Perkins, and I can't remember who they play right offhand, but it's the Division IV Perkins, and you remember who the other team is,
I'm getting
Carl?
the program out.
Yeah.
There you go. As you do that, check that baby out. We'll say Delphos St. John's going to get ready to kick off to the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers.
Yeah, it's Arlington. The only 8 seed that made it to the finals, Carl. You know, we talked about the expanded playoffs, what that would do. But we got an 8 seed playing in the state finals today.
Doug Marks getting ready to kick off for Delphos St. John's. Back deep, you got to look out for Matt Smiley, number 31. He's also one of the halfbacks on this team for the Flyers of Norwalk St. Paul. Here we go. Mart's ready to go. He gets his foot into it. It's going to be driven down to the 10-yard line. Take it across to the 15, and he's got some running room, some good blocking up front. He could go all the way. He's got one man to beat. He's got him down, one more, and he's going to go all the way in for the touchdown on the kickoff. And returning the football was number 12, Jordan Wangler, and that's going to be about a 90-yard kickoff return. And quickly, Bill, Delphos St. John's falls behind of the Lone Zone scoreboard, 6-0.
Carl, I bet that's the first time they've been behind all year, isn't it? I can't remember any other time. That certainly is a great way for St. Paul to start the game. We talked about special teams and beating St. John's defense. If you run the kickoff, you don't have to worry about the regular defense, I guess.
And they're going to go for the extra point with Aiden McDonald kicking the extra point. And we've got flags. Let's go down to Scott Stiles on the sideline.
I'll tell you what, they set up a perfect wall to return left, and there was nobody within 5 yards on him. The only guy that had a shot in was Doug Martz, and he had to take on 2 blockers, and he had clear sailing. What a great return by Norwalk St. Paul to start this game. You talk about a sideline, get from going excited to get real quiet real quick. You just saw it here. Back to you.
Officially, that's going to go for 88 yards. Jordan Wangler. Penalty against St. John's, offside. It's a 1-yard penalty. Half the distance to the goal line, we should say. So they'll be kicking the extra point.
They're going to decline it, Carl, so they get to kick the extra point the same distance they practice at. Most teams, unless they're going to go for 2, will decline that penalty.
Okay. Snap is there, holds there, kick is up, and he will split the uprights. And quickly, Norwalk St. Paul, the Flyers, go up on the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, 7-zip. Bill, when we talk about that, St. John's has only given up just over 5 points in every football game, and quickly in the first play from the kickoff, they get down 7-zip.
Well, against a team like St. John's, and as good as their normal defense is that you play against down after down, I think to have a chance against them, you have to have a big play like that. If they can, get a kick return like that, maybe pick up a fumble or something, that's what can keep teams in the game against a team like St. John's that plays such great team defense.
I'd like to thank all the sponsors making it possible that we are here today for this rebroadcast. By the way, that is now the longest kickoff return for a touchdown. It was Jeremy Morrow for Norwalk St. Paul against the Blue Jays a couple of years ago. It was 84 yards, and now we've got Norwalk St. Paul doing the same thing. It's now 88 yards. I said watch out for Matt Smiley on that kickoff, and Smiley never even got the football. Wangler took it and went all the way.
Looked like he had pretty good speed, Carl. There wasn't anybody catching him, that's for sure.
Todd Schulte, first-year head coach of the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, returned 22 lettermen this year, 9 returning starters, and he's got some good ones. And we're going to be telling you about those starters here just in a couple of minutes. Didn't get a chance to set up the starters for Norwalk St. Paul, but we'll check their defensive players for you. Unless, of course, the St. John Blue Jays return one here for a touchdown.
Well, that's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Well, kicking off is going to be Aiden McDonald. He kind of does everything. He punts for this team. He's a quarterback for the football team. Right now, he gets the foot into it. It's driven all the way down to the 2-yard line. Returned across the 5, the 10, the 15, 20. Breaks out of the pack down to the 30. And you're right, Bill. It was close. All the way down to the 37-yard line. Returning at that time for Delphos St. John's. It looked like number 37 for St. John's, and that is Zach Weber. And talking about Weber, we'll check the rest of the starters now for you for the Blue Jays. Starters being brought to you by our good friends at the St. Rita's Sports Medicine Walk-In Clinics, open from 7:30 to 9 a.m. Monday through Saturday, 830 West High Street in Lima. The quarterback, of course, is Scott McCormick. He was on this championship team last year as the quarterback, and they run out of the I formation. He wants to throw. Quick pass, and he drops it. Pass over to John Odenweller, and he couldn't hold on to it. Let's check the rest of the starters. McCormick's quarterback. Fullback is a sophomore, Adam Miller. Watch for Zach Weber, over 2,100 yards rushing during the season and into the playoffs. The flanker is Aaron Becker. Center is Phil Gunder. The guards, Scott Miller, Nick Yeager. Tackles are Kyle Minning and Andy Becker. Tight end is Ryan Morris, and the split end is John Odenweller. We'll check the defensive players for you after this next play. Here goes Weber, and he gets caught almost at the line of scrimmage. Going to set up a 3rd down. Let's check the defense for Norwalk St. Paul. The ends are Ben Wasiniak and Dan Berry. The tackles are Mike Gardner and Travis Miller. Brandon Hollers, the middle guard. The backers are Mike Garretts, Phil Rosepert, and Brian Pickens. Cornerbacks are Jason King and Jordan Wangler. And the safety is Ben Klein. Those are your starters in the offense for the Jays and the defense for the Flyers. 3rd down situation. They still need 10 to pick up the 1st down. McCormick back to pass, looking downfield, has a receiver. It's going to be caught. Caught by Aaron Becker down to the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 Jays. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
What Becker did, Carl, was running out and up, and they ran the curl behind it, and it froze the deep back. He jumped on the curl that freed Becker up down the sideline. Perfect pass by McCormick. I want to relate something to you real quick. McCormick last week, remember he hurt his ankle? This Thursday, he went and practiced at Toledo. He sprained it again, so he has it heavily taped, and he also is wearing a brace, so watch how his mobility is today. Back to you.
And you remember, Scott, last year it was the shoulder.
That's correct.
Out of the I formation again, McCormick under Gunder, and he will run the option. Keeps it himself, and he's going to go down around the 23-yard line. And, of course, Bill, Scott McCormick was our player of the game last week as he ran that option so well against the Marion local Flyers.
He certainly did. He did a great job last week, and if his ankle isn't bothering him too much, it looks to me like he's going to have some room to run today, too. St. Paul's playing a 6-2 defense. Got a lot of people jammed up close to the line, playing man-to-man the secondary. I think that's why St. John's receivers have been open the first 2 pass plays.
St. John's down 7-0 on the lone zone scoreboard. They'll run that option again, or did he get the ball handed off? Looks like he did have the...
Gave it to the fullback.
Yep, he got it to Miller. And they ran that a lot of times last week, too, Bill. They set up Weber, and they also set up McCormick. He giving the ball to Adam Miller. Had himself a great game. Miller with 436 yards this year on 77 carries and a couple of touchdowns. McCormick 86 of 154, 1,612 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Zach Weber 2,146 yards on 242 carries and 34 touchdowns. Play action. He wants to throw. Got himself a receiver, the big tight end, Morris, and he goes down around the 10-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and 10 Jays. Again, let's go down to the sidelines.
Well, they're doing a good job, Carl and Coach, of tacking the flats. They're running it off deep, and then they have the flats wide open. That time they pop the tight end out. Good throw by McCormick again. Sets up 1st down. Nothing will counter this, nothing but a score right here. If they get a score, it's a whole new ball game. Delphos can get the momentum back, but right now, you got to get something going here. Back to you.
Down to 9 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. St. John's facing a 1st down and goal to go from the 10. There's the handoff and the defense there for the Flyers.
Well, it looks like the Flyers' defensive strategy, Carl, is to stop the run because, like I said, they're really jamming up the line of scrimmage, and they're giving St. John's receivers some room. So I think you're going to continue to see the passing game be real effective for the Blue Jays.
John Odenweller, one of the receivers, a split end, 522 yards this year, 29 catches for 12 touchdowns. Morris with almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns on 24 catches. McCormick goes with a handoff. This is Weber trying to get to the outside, and he's going to go down around the 12-yard line. And again, good pursuit this time by one of the linebackers, Mike Garretts.
Yes, that was real good pursuit, Carl. And to tackle Weber one-on-one in the open field is not an easy thing to do, and he got her done that time.
John Livengood is the head football coach for St. Paul, 77-25, his career record. This St. Paul team comes out of the Firelands Conference. 9th year for John, 20 returning starters, 18 returning lettermen. Third down, they're going to need 11 to pick up the first down. McCormick switching all sorts of things around. He jumps back into the shotgun. He's got 4 receivers, and he's looking left. Goes across the middle, touchdown, Delphos St. John's. The touchdown is going to be to John Odenweller at the 8:01 mark of our first quarter. Jays down 7-6. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Great throw. What they did, Carl, it was they shifted and went trips to left. Big Joe Capcar, you don't see much of him on offense, came and ran a pick, and that freed the guy up over the middle. Perfect throw, perfect strike. Jays get back up here. They're going to tie it up right here with the extra point. Back to you.
They ran a pick.
That's not
legal. Is that legal, Scott?
No, it's not legal, but I tell you what, Coach Goodwin got away with it for 37 years.
Come on. Come on. This is football season. This isn't basketball.
There's the hole. The kick is up, and it is good. And Mike Bittler continues the tradition that he's established at St. John's. On the extra points, he was 75 of 84 coming into this game, make it 76 of 85. And quickly, Bill, we are tied up 7-7. And if you remember last week against Marion Local, of course, the Flyers scoring just that 1 touchdown. It was on a big play as well, and that's what's happened so far here against the Jays.
Yeah, we haven't seen St. Paul's offense against Delphos defense yet, obviously, and that, as we said before the game, I think is going to be a big key. Can they move the ball? I don't mean score every time, but they need to get a couple first down every possession, get a little field position. If they can do some things like that, then they can stay in the ball game. But if it's a lot of 3 plays and out, like a lot of teams has had against St. John's, St. Paul's going to have a lot of trouble too, I think.
Well, that took 9 plays for 63 yards. Time of possession for that touchdown, 3 minutes and 44 seconds, as opposed to the 15 seconds of offense so far that the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers have had on that touchdown return.
Be interesting to see if St. Paul changes their defense the next time, because like I said, it looked to me like they were just kind of daring St. John's to throw the football. I didn't know if they didn't think they could or they just wanted to see if they could. Well, I think they found out now, and we'll see if they'll make an adjustment next time.
I'll be watching for Jordan Wangler, number 12. And you know what? They kick it right his way again. Let's see what happens this time. He takes it back to the middle, forming the wedge. Jays are there. He tries to pop to the outside, and he's brought down about where he started. So the kick coverage a lot better that time for Delphos St. John's. We are here right beside the Hall of Fame, Coach. Pro Football Hall of Fame. They do all the enshrinement ceremonies over here. So the fans that are out here get a kind of a double occasion.
That's right, Carl. In this part of the state, if you haven't been to Stark County, Massillon, Canton area during football season, you've missed something, because people here go crazy on all kinds of football.
Oh, a lot of sites. A lot of sites around here.
Right.
We'll check the offense for Norwalk St. Paul here after this first play. Quarterback for the Flyers, Aiden McDonald, 6-foot junior, over 1,200 yards passing this year. Jason Pugh, the brother to Dan Pugh that played a couple of years ago, is the fullback. A couple of running backs, Chad Weffley and also Matt Smiley back there in the backfield. Center is Phil Rospert. Guards are Jeremy Herbst and Travis Miller. Derek Welch and Louis Bober are the tackles. Ben Klein and Dan Beatty are receivers. Dan is a split end. Ben is the tight end. We'll check the Jays defense for you here in a second. Second down, we got some movement. Looks like it's going to be an offsides against the Flyers. Let's check the Jays defense. It's a good one. Capcar, Joe Capcar, one of the ends, along with Rocky Klaus. Matt Schwennen and Kyle Jackson are your tackles. Linebackers are Doug Martz, Keith Recker, and Sean Ardner. Cornerback Craig Hershey, Randy Grodhouse with his 8 interceptions, the other cornerback. The safeties are Chuck Hain and Jeff Fisher. Those are all of your starters for this championship game, brought to you by the St. Rita Sports Medicine Walk-In Clinics, open from 7:30 to 9 o'clock a.m. Monday through Saturday, 830 West High Street in Lima. And speaking of defense, Coach, there it is.
Number 48, Rocky Klaus, did a great job against the sweep. Got rid of the blocker and hit the ball carrier right behind the line of scrimmage for about a 3-yard loss. St. Paul started out the first play, they got 5 yards, and that was that's a good situation. But then that offside penalty really kills you. Then all of a sudden, it's instead of 2nd and 5, it's 2nd and 10, and change your whole play selection.
Fisher with 125 tackles. Kapkar 61, Jackson 75, Schwinnon 64, and Klaus 87 tackles. Is time to pass and into the end zone. Where's it at? Fumble. And what's it going to be? Let's go down to Scott Stiles as they try to figure things out.
Well, they're sorting it out. Call touchdown.
Touchdown for Delphos St. John. Scott, who covered it?
Great pressure. Number 61 for Delphos St. John's, Carl. That'd be Matt Schwinnon.
Matt Schwinnon with a touchdown for St. John's, as Scott says he covered down there on the fumble. And Bill, what a big play. St. John's gets the fumble recovery from the quarterback, Aiden McDonald. They go up 13-7.
Mistakes again, Carl, and the big mistake, as I said, was a penalty. It really changes your play selection when you go from 2nd and 5 to 2nd and 10, and then they got in the hole and had to throw, and that's when big plays happen.
And again, it's going to be Bittler coming in for the extra point. Hold is there, kick is up, and it is good. And I think Norwalk St. Paul, Scott, made another mistake. They scored first and upset the Jays a little bit. Now they're down 14-7.
Well, it does. I got 2 reports for you. First of all, Ryan Morris, Carl, is big tight end, 6'4", 205 pounds. He is out. Don't know if he'll be back in the game at all. That's why you saw Kapkar in there on that first scoring drive. He has rolled his left ankle, and it's pretty swollen. They got ice, and it's wrapped up on the sideline. Scotty McCormick, he came over. I talked to him real quick. I said, how's the ankle feel? He says, not bad. Still real tight. You know, when you sprain an ankle and you wear a brace, then they tape it over that. It seems to be real tight for a while, and you got to sweat a little bit and loosen that up. That's starting to happen, so look for his mobility to get a little better as the game goes on as well. Back to you.
Bill, how about some of those other games you had a chance to check out yesterday?
Well, Carl, yesterday we got to see Amanda Clear Creek and St. Henry, which was a real good ball game. Amanda ended up winning it. And then we saw Poland Seminary against Columbus Watterson in Division 3. And Seminary ended up winning that ball game. And then last night we saw the Division 2 final between Cuyahoga Falls Walsh Jesuit and Sylvania, and that was an excellent game. Ended up 19-18. Cuyahoga Falls Jesuit won, but Sylvania really put on a great show because they were the big underdog, and they made some big plays, and it was a real exciting football game.
Of course, congratulations to Tim Beckman and the St. Henry Redskins on making it to the championship game. Down 28-20 at one point with about 4 minutes remaining. They tried an onside kick, didn't get it, and ended up losing 35-20. But congratulations to those guys, players and team from the MAC. This one's driven back to the 6-yard line, return to the 15, 20, and that's about it. And another fumble, and Delphos St. John's is going to cover another one. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Carl, that's the quickest whistle I've ever seen in my life. The first initial contact, he strips him right away, and the official blows the whistle.
Oh,
bad call.
Oh, boy. As we get ready for high school basketball, we'll throw in a, oh, boy, to get Bob Arnzen already. Well, it's going to go to the Flyers, and they're going to have it 1st and 10, see what they can do with their offense. After the fumble on the last series from their quarterback, Aiden McDonald. McDonald comes in 76 of 144 for 1,282 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, as the handoff doesn't get him a whole lot there. Jason Pugh, 270 carries for 1,966 yards, 28 touchdowns. And then Matt Smiley's got about 715 yards on 97 carries with 12 touchdowns. The receiver they use is Dan Beatty, 45 catches, 744 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Their big offensive gun, though, is their fullback, number 1, Pugh.
And they will give the ball off left tackle to Smiley, and he picks up a couple more yards, going to set up a third down situation. Like to thank our good friends from CR Golf, the commercial bank, Tom Wall, family of automotive dealerships, where you'll always find knock your socks off deals, and Canadian Sons Plumbing and Heating. Your comfort is our concern. Some of our many great sponsors making it possible. We are at Canton's Fawcett Stadium, bringing you this Division VI high school football contest. And right now, we've got 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining first quarter. The Jays are up 14-7, and the Flyers are facing a 3rd down and 6. Backs are split, and they will go with the handoff to Pugh, and he will go down short of the first down. And you said in the pregame show, Coach, that Jason Pugh, a lot different from his brother Dan, who used to be an elusive type runner, and Jason just kind of likes to pull you over.
Yeah, he's a straight-ahead runner and big, strong boy. There's no doubt about it. He's an excellent runner, but I still think that's going to be tough to do against St. John's defense, as we've seen so far in this game, Carl.
Well, St. John's going to get the football back, and back in for the Blue Jays is Jeff Fisher and Craig Hershey, and they can bust one at any second as well. McDonald's the punter as well, and he gets off a beautiful punt, driving Fisher back to the 29-yard line. He gets out to the 35, and we've got flags down, and that usually doesn't mean good things for the team that's going to be moving to the offense.
Well, that's either a clip or a hold, Carl. It looked like a clip to me, and I'm sure that's what it is. It's going to be a big 15-yard penalty if that is a clipping call. That'll put St. John's clear back to inside their 20.
Still conferring. And, of course, when you get to the championship game like this, Bill, you, of course, should have the best officials in the state of Ohio doing the game as well.
Yeah, you should have,
Bill,
Carl.
Bill, here. Hey, Bill.
The scary part about it is sometimes if these are the best, you wonder about the rest of them, but I didn't say that. I just thought it. I didn't really say it.
I didn't hear you. Well, the Jays are going to have it 1st and 10 at about the 18-yard line. And they are already on top, 14-7. A lot of points here in this first quarter, and we still have over 4 minutes remaining. Last game of the 1999 high school football season. Out of the formation for the Jays, high formation. They will not do much there as McCormick having some problems finding a receiver. Good coverage that time by the defensive backs for St. Paul. I was just thinking, Bill, these Jays that most of them out here on the sidelines or on the field right now some of them play some high school basketball. The varsity team hasn't practiced because they don't have their players. I mean, they've been shooting around doing the stuff you can do, but this is the same week where all the other boys' teams have kicked off their seasons.
Yeah, that's gonna take St. John's to get into the basketball mode, I'm sure, but once they get in it, I think they're going to have a great team there, too.
There's the pitch back to the player of the year, All-Ohio player, Zach Weber. Zach's been held to just a yard so far here in this first quarter on his 3 carries previous, and now he's got that one there, so he picks up a couple more yards. But what more can you say about Zach Weber, number 37? He's 5'7", 145 pounds, and a senior. And, you know, you look across the state of Ohio in any division, you don't see too many guys that can be All-Ohio player of the year with a size like that.
No, especially a junior even. Usually they try to give that to seniors if they can.
It is a 3rd down situation. Passing situation downfield. Odenweller, and he holds on to the football to the 40-yard line. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Great job by Odenweller, because actually McCormick threw it a little too far inside. He tried to hit him down the seam. He ran a seam route, but he threw it clear back inside, but he had to throw it there to avoid the coverage. And that time Odenweller won the ball more than the defensive back did, and he won the battle. Back to you.
Thank you, Scott. And now that's going to set up another 1st down for Delphos St. John's.
St. Paul's done a good job against St. John's running attack, like I said earlier, Carl, but they're leaving their receivers open, and McCormick's doing a great job getting it in there. That was a great pass that time.
Out of the I formation again. And this time they'll give it to the fullback, Miller, and he tries to grind up a couple of more yards. Adam Miller, 6'2", 196-pound sophomore. Like I said before, Weber Sr., of course, Bill, as you mentioned there, a junior, 5'7". Got Ian Weber back there as well. He comes in for Zach a lot of times. He's just a sophomore. What a job that Jordan Bowers has done this year. He's just a junior, and he's already picked up over 600 yards rushing this year. Over 400 yards rushing for Ian Weber. So they always got somebody they can bring in if they don't have Zach in there.
The offensive line's a key. With them blowing them off the line of scrimmage, any good back's going to make some yardage.
Option by McCormick doesn't get a whole lot. It's going to set up a 3rd down situation. You talk about that line. You got Gunder at 250, 6'5". Scott Miller. The guards have been real key coming in there. You know, this offensive line was built around Phil Gunder. Had the veterans in there last year. Scott Miller and Nick Yeager. Then the tackles, Kyle Minning and Andy Becker. Becker 218, Minning at 204. Yeager 196 and Miller 216. 3rd down situation. The Flyers fans want to see some defense here. Blue Jay fans want to see just the opposite, some more offense. And it will be play action. McCormick looking downfield, has himself a receiver, and it's up for grabs and incomplete. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, I tell you what, that's a throw-up ball, but Odenwiller did a good job of putting the defender on his back. But what happened, Odenwiller drifted in a little bit, Carl, and the ball just kind of floated over his head. He was in a great position to make that play. Also, Ryan Morris has the ice off, getting taped back up. He's going to go in maybe in 2 series from now. He's going to jog up and down here, see how the ankle feels. Back to you.
Thank you, Scott. Down to 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Time for Doug Martz, who averages about 42 yards a kick, to kick it away, and he gets it on a bounce. Gets the kickoff, going to be taken around the 12-yard line. Smiley trying to cut the corner, and he will not. Down to the 20-yard line, and that is where the Flyers, again, will bring their offense out, down by just a touchdown, 14-7.
Well, we'll see if they can get anything going this time, Carl. Looks like we got an injury down there, too. Looks like the punt returner, I believe, but...
And that would be Matt Smiley. I'd like to thank some more of our sponsors who helped us out, bringing us here to Canton's Fawcett Stadium. The Loan Zone for great loan rates with no hassles, no kidding. 1-800-LOANS-US. Also, Quick Change Oil and Lube. 111 Westwood Drive in Van Wert. And the Central Soya Company, 234 South Jefferson in Delphos. Also like to thank some of our friends all year long who have brought us food up here in the press box. We get hungry sometimes, Bill, as hard as we work up here. And I haven't had a chance.
We don't leave anything to the rest of us. We don't dare get hungry.
Well, Mike Richards ate all of Scott Stiles' food up here. I just want to let you know that, Scott, that he's taking care of you. Our good friends at the Carriage Inn, Craig and Sandy, have been nice to us all year long, and they brought us up some special stuff this week. They brought up some apple pie, and we usually have some wings and some wraps and things, and this week we got some those ham sandwiches, Bill, and turkey sandwiches, and all kinds of other food.
Sounds good.
And also, Red Newmeyer brought us up another, I think it's an apple pie. I just ate some. I thought it was apple. Can't remember. I ate so much of everything else. And, of course, they're Red at the LATT Landscaping of Delphos for all your lawn maintenance and landscaping needs. Call Red at 692-0091. We're going to have to get him on there all the time next year. And, of course, Scott Stiles has Red Newmeyer's hat that he is going to be donning sometime during this game. Aren't you, Scott? Scott, you down there?
Yeah, I'm down here. That was Chad Weffel, number 13, who was injured on the play, Carl.
Okay, you got that hat down there?
Yes, I do.
You know, Red Newmeyer is going to be very upset. You know, he brought that hat just for you.
I already saw him. We already had a discussion about that.
You have the discussion about that?
I got to wear that hat. Zener wants me to wear his hat. You know, I got a lot of pressure down here, Carl.
You got a lot of hats to put on.
Tough gig I got to do down here.
Well, I want to see that hat. That's kind of like a Jughead hat.
Tell Richards there's a tent down there. That's where his food is.
Let's make sure. I want to see Ronnie Coons get you on camera before this one's over. Celebration for St. John's will be tomorrow at the Blue Jay Robert A. Arnzen Gymnasium at 6:30 is when everything gets underway. Make sure to come on out and welcome the Jays home. Hand off to Pugh, and Pugh's going to pick up maybe 2 yards or so, and that's going to be about it.
St. Paul's still looking for their first down, Carl, here starting the second quarter. They just haven't been able to get anything established yet. I still think if they're going to move the football, they're going to have to do something besides run up inside the tackles. They're going to have to try to open it up a little bit and throw some passes, do something. You can't make a living running inside, I don't think, against this Jays defense.
We're down to probably the final play of this first quarter, unless it's a pass play or they get out of bounds. He runs into his running back, Pugh. They pick up a couple more yards, but that's going to do it for the first quarter. Down to 10 seconds. We have played 1 quarter of action here at Canton's Fawcett Stadium. Our score on the Lone Zone scoreboard, Delphos St. John's on top of Norwalk St. Paul, 14-7. Second quarter action coming up next on Fox.
Basketball is all about teamwork and reaching goals as a team. This kind of teamwork is demonstrated by the faculty and staff at Wright State University Lake Campus. As a student, I know that their mission is to help us learn and grow to attain our goals. That's why the Lake Campus offers a variety of 2-year programs, a 4-year degree in teacher education, and our proposed new 2+2 bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. The Lake Campus team can work for you. Call or visit us today.
Captain has turned me into Santa Claus. We've got to get rid of over 400 used cars before year end as a tax write-off. Captain wants me to even give one away. Buy a vehicle from Tom Alls before Christmas and get your choice of a free 3-year lease on a Century, Chevette, or free Hyundai Accent. Tax write-off prices on over 300 factory executive program cars is up to 50% off original list. Some of those low as 4,000 miles. Bargains on over 60 minivans, 98 brands of those $13,995. We've got sport use, luxury cars, economy cars, the family cars, sacrifice. So come to Tom Alls, where deals are so good you can get one free.
Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's skyline time. Gather together with friends and family. It's skyline time. Wholesome, hearty food and a taste that's so divine. Together, at last, it's skyline time.
Do you pay too much to heat and cool your home? Your windows are the problem, but a problem easily solved. I'm Dancy Moore for Sash & Storm, and we're giving you an opportunity of a lifetime. Replace the windows in your home for as low as $99 a month with 0 down, no payments till $2,000. Imagine a house full of windows with the best warranty available that will pay for themselves by saving you 47% on all your heating and cooling costs. Don't wait, winter is coming. Call Sash & Storm today, 1-800-222-SASH.
We're proud to be ranked #1 in the uniform industry. But more importantly, we've been voted #1 for 2 years right here in West Central Ohio. Let our dedicated staff make your business look like a winner with our smart and professional uniforms. Your business will look like a winner with professional uniforms delivered right to your door. Our customized entry mats will make a great first impression with all your customers. Keep your employees and your business looking sharp with Van Dyne Crotty.
Right in your own backyard, today, tomorrow, and beyond. Van Wert County Hospital is everything you need for a lifetime of health care. Serving your family with a new medical office building at 140 Fox Road. Come home to the future of health care.
Working wonders for life. Van Wert County Hospital.
Welcome back to Canton, Division 6 high school football championship game. St. John's on top, 14-7. Looking at some of the first quarter numbers. First downs, Delphos St. John's with 3. St. Paul has not picked one up yet. Rushes, 9 carries for St. John's for a total of 12 yards. 8 carries for St. Paul for a total of 3 yards. Passing, St. John's 4 of 6. No pass plays yet connected-wise for St. Paul. 15 plays, 91 yards for St. John's. 8 plays, Bill, 3 yards in the first quarter for St. Paul.
Well, both teams has done a good job against the rush. St. John's only gained 12 yards on the ground that first quarter, 9 rushes. So the big difference has been the St. John's passing game.
Well, let's see what they can do on 3rd down and 6. This is Aiden McDonald. The quarterback goes to Pugh. Pugh trying to cut it upfield, and he's going to be right at the stick. And this is all going to depend on where they mark this one at, because he's right even with the stick at the 30-yard line.
Give him a pretty good mark there, Carl. I think it's a first down.
Yep.
Looks like it from here, but looks like they're going to bring the chains in.
Well, here you go. What do you think? Championship game, Bill. Call it.
I think it's going to be a first down by about 1/4 of an inch.
Okay, what do you think, Styles?
I think he just barely got it by a nose, Carl.
Is that a 1/4 of an inch, too, you think?
We'll give Coach, you know how old he is. He's got to give him a 1/4 of an inch is a 1/2 foot to him.
Let's see. They stretch it. Looks like you got about a 1/4 of an inch there, Bill. That's a pretty good call. So this is the first down of this high school football game for Norwalk St. Paul, the Flyers, and so their drive is going to continue.
Yeah, they ran the sweep that time, and Pugh got a little momentum that time, and as I said, he's a big, strong running back and was able to get just the necessary yardage, Carl.
1st and 10, 30-yard line. 11 minutes and 44 seconds remaining here in this second quarter.
So flag came in there late, Carl. I don't have any idea what that was. It was almost after the play was over. But St. Paul tried a trap play up the middle that time and went nowhere, and then we got the flag.
Face mask against the Blue Jays, and you don't see the defense for Todd Schulte do too much of that. This defense is just amazing. You got Jeff Fisher, and this is, I don't know, Coach, and you talk about picking all Ohio players, but Fisher, of course, first team all Ohio. You got Gunder in there. You got Zach Weber in there. And you think about some of these other guys who could have been first team. You think of a guy like Doug Marks. Look what he's done for the defense this year, helping out, reading these offenses and making sure his team clicks. And there's one that they may have missed.
Yeah, he's certainly a good player, Carl.
McDonald barking out the signals. Will give the ball off left tackle, and a good hit in there. Carrying the football that time was number 39 for St. Paul, and that is Brian Pickens, 6 foot, 195-pound sophomore.
Again, St. John's does such a good job running to the football, Carl. Looked like he had a seam there. He looked like he's going to gain a little bit more, and all of a sudden there's 2 Jays there hitting him, and he ends up with a 2 or 3 yard gain.
So that sets up a second down. Let's call it 8. Pitch back to Pugh. Pugh trying to cut the corner again, and he hits a couple, but that's going to be about it.
Yeah, again, that was the same play they ran a little earlier and made the first down on. It's just a kind of a power sweep with the fullback carrying, trying to get him outside, and with his size, with the momentum he gets going, it makes it a little easier to make some yardage, but came up short again. It's going to be what, about 3rd and 3, 3.5, 4?
We'll round up. Ball
up.
at the 47-yard line of Delphos St. John's. Blue Jay fans on their feet. They want to see the D hold the Flyers right here. They give it to Pugh. Pugh picks up the first down, cuts it. And I tell you, if Pugh would have kept on going, Fisher is about the only other guy who probably could have stopped him. So the second, another first down, we should say, for Norwalk St. Paul. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, I'll tell you what, they got a little momentum going here, Carl. And one thing about St. Paul, what they're doing is, I talked to one of the coaches, what they said before the game is they're going to try to prevent the big cutback. It seemed like a lot of times, like McCormick and Zach, they cut back and cut across the grain. And so far, they've been able to do that, control Delphos' running game. See if Delphos' defense can pick it up here as well. Back to you.
1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. They pitch it back to Smiley. Smiley, he's trying to get to the outside, and Fisher comes in and hits him hard, and he ends up going down, and might have lost a little bit on that, half a yard or so, and so it's going to set up. All depends. You got 2 or 3 guys standing in different spots. Now they're going to put it right back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, one thing St. Paul is doing with this style of offense, Carl, if they can get a couple first downs by not throwing the ball, they are shortening the game. They're taking some time off the clock, and, that's one way you can stay in a game where the other team's a little bit favored.
They pitch it back to Pugh. Pugh getting to the outside. Here comes Fisher. He's not going anywhere. Fisher in on the stop, and then 2 or 3 more Jays come in to help out.
They've gone pretty much exclusively to the power sweep this last 3 or 4 plays. I think that's about 4 times in a row they've ran it, and the last 2 times they made nothing. In fact, lost yardage. So they must see something out there I don't. That play takes a long time to develop, and they don't have a whole lot of speed, and it's hard to run the outside against St. John's with their pursuit.
Jason Pugh has carried the football 11 times so far here in this first half. He's picked up 29 yards. He's the leading ground gainer so far. McDonald, the lefty, throws downfield, incomplete. Had a receiver down there, and it was number 87. As we check the roster, 87 is Nick Van Dresser, one of the split ends. And so that means now that Norwalk St. Paul is going to have to punt the football away with it resting at the 40-yard line.
Big number 69, Kyle Jackson for St. John's that time. Carl got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and he had to throw it, I think, just a little bit quicker than he wanted to.
Again, it's going to be McDonald who's going to get in punt formation. Standing at his own 47, gets it off, tries to angle it to the sideline, and does. Goes out of bounds, and they will mark it at the 16-yard line, it looks like. So St. John's will come and bring their offense back out on the field, already up 14-7 on the Lone Zone scoreboard. Just over 8 minutes remaining here in this second quarter. A couple more sponsors we'd like to thank. United Equity Incorporated of Delphos, Community First Savings and Loans, service that's first, and the Cupie, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburgers. 3 more of our great sponsors here on Fox. Jays with the football. Scott McCormick will pitch it. Gets it to Zach. Zach tries to go forward. Does. Picks up about 7 yards, maybe 6 yards. Zach has carried the ball now 5 times, and he still has under 10 yards for his duties on the day.
St. Paul's been doing a good job of getting some penetration. Big number 75 that time. Phil Rosbert got in there and made Zach cut back, and he almost found the seam that time, though. Another step, and that might have been a big play.
Jeremy Herb's also in on the tackle for Norwalk St. Paul. Out of the eye, option left this time. McCormick goes down, and you can tell, Coach, you know, the defense is doing a pretty good job, but I think that ankle's bothering him a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's bothering him a little bit, but as you said, it looks like St. Paul has probably spent a lot of time after seeing the option last week against Marion Local. I think they came into this game knowing that they have to stop that play, and so far they've done a pretty good job. The thing that makes that play so tough to stop, though, Carl, I think, is Zach Weber. You know, you about have to put 2 guys on him. You don't want to be out there one-on-one against him, so that leaves the fullback or the quarterback free sometimes.
They hike the ball straight back to Zach Weber, and he's gone. He's got 1 guy to beat, and he splits them, and he gets caught at the 15-yard line. I didn't think anybody was going to catch Zach Weber as he got down in the middle of the field. They snapped the football directly to Zach, and zing, Scott. He took off but didn't quite have enough.
Well, you can only contain for so long, but what a great call on 3rd and 5, because in that time, every time they've been in a long distance, they've thrown the ball and they've been in the shotgun formation. That time they overloaded to the right side, the strong side, and Zener came back to the weak side, and he was off to the races. Back to you.
And so it's a 1st and 10 for Delphos St. John's. 6:48 remaining. Second quarter, already up 14-7. Out of the I formation again. This time Scott McCormick gives the football to the fullback. Miller, look at him go. Touchdown, Blue Jays. Touchdown will come from 15 yards out. 6:37 mark of our second quarter. St. John's up 20-7. Again, let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, that's what you have from the previous weeks of runs being so successful on the option. They came flying to the outside, expecting McCormick to pull the ball. And great up front blocking. You got to give credit to those guys. They made big holes. Those big fellas up there just putting pancakes right now. Back to you.
Excellent job running, too. He broke a couple of tackles there to get into the end zone, Carl.
Yep. So now Adam Miller with a couple of carries in this game, Coach. He's got 20 yards. Zach Weber with his run, 6 carries for 73 yards. And now Mike Bittler will split the uprights yet again. And the offensive steamroller will continue to roll the steam as they are up by a couple of touchdowns. And it could only get worse maybe from this point. I think the Jays are getting warmed up.
Got to be impressed, though, with the speed of Jordan Wangler, Carl, the young man that caught Zach there when he looked like he might go all the way. He's the same guy that returned that kickoff for a touchdown. So he's got some good speed there. I don't know if he's a track person or not, but he certainly seems to run well.
Let's check our plays on that particular series for St. John's. By the way, they've got now 5 first downs in this game, 13 rushes for 97 yards, 79 pass yards, 19 plays overall, 176 yards, and their time of possession. You know, both teams pretty even in terms of time of possession. St. John's at 8 minutes, 50 seconds. St. Paul at 8 minutes and 33 seconds.
Well, if they can keep that time of possession fairly close, that'll certainly help them stay in this ball game if they can keep moving the football a little bit like they did the last time. But being down 14 points already against St. John's is it's awful hard to come back against their defense.
Well, a couple of years ago, Norwalk St. Paul went ahead of St. John's 14-zip, as we mentioned in the pregame show, and St. John's quickly came back and took the lead at half, 21-14. St. John's went on to win big, 42-26. Short kick this time, taken by Pugh at the 22. Pugh up the middle of the field, stutter steps, then takes off again, and he is gang tackled at the 31-yard line, and that's where Norwalk St. Paul will set up their offense. Let's check out some of the teams that the Flyers have played this year from that Firelands Conference. The red and white is taking on Sandusky St. Mary's Central Catholic. They beat them. Lost to Tiffin Calvert 34-13. Beat Crestline, New London, Collins Western Reserve, Plymouth, Monroeville, Ashland Mapleton, Ashland Crestview, and Greenwich South Central. A little counter that time to Smiley, and he goes nowhere. In fact, looks like he might have lost about a yard. In the regionals and into the state playoffs, I should say, the Cuyahoga Heights, they beat by a touchdown. They beat Toronto, Coach, just by 2 points, 28-26, knocked off Monroeville 17-14, and Danville 42-12.
I think Toronto might have been undefeated too. That's probably the biggest win they've had this year. Some of those other schools they play in their conference, not sure their conference is near as strong as St. John's, so they're not used to this competition.
Pugh, again, is going to go nowhere. The defense for St. John's ramping him up. Rocky Klaus in on the tackle that time. So it's going to set up another third down situation.
3rd and 11 is not a very good situation to be in against this St. John's defense, as we've seen all year. Force a team into have them throw the football when the St. John's knows they're going to throw it, and that's when Fisher, one of the boys back here, pick one off.
Or Randy Grotehouse, who has 8 interceptions. Hershey, who has 6. Fisher with 5. As they try to throw, McDonald throws it downfield. It's going to be caught, but it's going to be short of the first down. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Tell you what, McDonald threw the ball, a bullet low, and they are short, Carl, but he paid the price. March came in and just leveled him. They're putting good pressure on him, and that's making him have some happy feet. He's getting the rid of the ball a little earlier than he wants to, because that time the receiver, had to go down for the ball where he wasn't able to run after the catch. So pressure forced the low throw. Back to you.
And here's what hurts, Coach. If you're a coach down there on the sideline, you're looking at this, 21-7. You know that this team is powerful on the offense. You know you got a yard to go here to pick up the first down. If you don't go for it, another chance of going down 28-7. If you do go for it and you don't get it, St. John's has the football down at the 40-yard line. So it's, it's a situation where you automatically got to say you got to punt, but you're going to it's going to hurt when you get the football back to St. John's.
Yeah, this early in the game you about have to punt, but it is awful discouraging to come up just a foot short. And, it was a mistake the receiver made. The quarterback in that situation has got to throw the ball low. Receiver's got to make sure when he runs that curl, he's down far enough so that if he does have to drop down like he did to catch it, he's still got a first down. But, you see pro receivers do the same thing, so it's not unusual to see that happen in high school.
Donald gets a foot into it, and it's going to be taken by Hershey at the 21-yard line. Hershey down the right sideline. Makes another cut, and finally is going to be brought down at the 39-yard line. That is where the Jays, again, will bring their offense out with another chance to put some points up on the board. All sorts of time remaining, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. I'd like to thank our good friends at Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Doctors Thomas and Roger Morris at Morris Chiropractic Clinic
in Delphos. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen of fine cabinetry and certified Korean fabricators. Call A&J 695-5655. And the Carriage Inn, 1201 East 5th Street in Delphos. Pass play. McCormick has his receiver, and as you see down there on the field, Ryan Morris is back into the ball game. Scott said in a couple series he would be back, and we see him out there trying to do what he's been called on to do, play tight end for the Blue Jays.
See, he's favoring that ankle a little bit, Carl. I don't think that caused him to drop the ball, but, you know, when you got your mind on an injury like that, sometimes your concentration is a little lax. But this is a big series for St. Paul's defense. They got to stop them now. If the Jays score again before halftime, the game's pretty much out of reach.
Scott McCormick out of the I formation. A man will go in motion for the Jays. And it's going to be a keeper on the option by McCormick, and he picks up about 5 yards.
Good job that time by McCormick. He really rode the fullback a long time, Carl, deciding whether to keep it or give it to the fullback, and he ended up kind of following the fullback right ahead for about a nice 5-yard gain.
Of course, you folks watching this rebroadcast, of course, as always, at 11 o'clock on the day we do the game. But we're also going to show it a second time on our sister station, WLQP, 4 o'clock on Sunday. And we'll tell you the channels you can watch that on here in a second. 3rd down and 5. McCormick wants to throw, has him again, and Morris holds on to it this time. And it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Delphos St. John's. Those channels you can watch it a second time on. And I know this time of the year, a lot of the fans of and relatives of the players want to tape the ball game. So if you're out having fun on Friday night, or I should say Saturday night, you don't get a chance to tape it. You can see it again on Sunday. UHF Channel 18, Time Warner Cable in Delphos on Channel 6, and Time Warner Cable in Lima, that's Channel 12. 1st down and 10 for the Jays, now at the 47-yard line of Norwalk St. Paul. And option fumble, and it goes right into the hands of a flyer, and all sorts of problems on that handoff. And getting the football for Norwalk St. Paul was number 27, Dan Beatty, as the ball went right back into his hands. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Boy, talk about a big turnover. What happened, Carl, was Scotty McCormick couldn't decide whether to give it to the fullback or not. That was the same problem last time, and McCormick ended up bobbling the ball, so he followed him through the same hole. That time, the ball just popped loose, and Norwalk St. Paul was Johnny on the spot with a big, big turnover. Maybe get a little momentum going in the locker room in halftime. Back to you.
Jack on the spot, getting the football back. And so now Norwalk St. Paul with a chance to cut into that lead. 21-7 the score. McDonald wants to throw. Got plenty of time. Now he wants to run. Throws inside the 10. It's going to be caught. 1st down for the Flyers, and catching the football was the same player that got the football back for them, and that was number 27, Dan Beatty, Coach.
Yeah, quarterback did a nice job that time, Carl, buying a little bit of time and rolling out and finding the open man. Got away from the Delphos rush when he rolled out.
So now they are knocking on the Blue Jay door. Let's see if the Jays can slam it right in their faces. 1st down, goal to go from the 7, and they pick up maybe a yard or so. So it's going to be 2nd down, and they're going to spot it at the 6.
Yeah, I still think they're going to have to throw the ball down here, Carl. Even though Pugh's a big, strong running back, it's awful tough to make yards down here against this Delphos goal line defense. So expect some sort of a play action on this play.
The junior quarterback brings him to the line under Phil Rosberg, the senior center. 2nd down. Play action. Quarterback, as Bill said, needs to throw. The lefty falls down, gets it in the end zone. Touchdown for the Flyers. Now, wait a minute. Flag is down, and the officials are saying, wait a minute. So they're going to wave that one off because there's a holding call against Norwalk St. Paul.
Boy, McDonald did a great job that time. St. Paul's quarterback getting rid of that ball at the last second for the touchdown, but unfortunately there was a holding call, and it's going to be brought back. I even thought maybe his knee was down before he threw it.
That's what I thought. I mean,
doesn't really matter. I guess the officials were just looking primarily at the hold, didn't really care about the knee going down. The one officials did signal a touchdown in the end zone, but they're going to bring this one all the way back to the 28-yard line. Doesn't make the Flyer fans too happy. 2 weeks in a row now that the Blue Jays have had to play Flyers.
Yeah. Now this brings up 2nd down and 28, Carl, and not too many coaches have that play on their chart. You don't like to get in this situation.
2nd down and land deck, as we affectionately say in Delphos, when you see a play like this with this many yards needed on a 2nd down.
They moved it up a little bit, Carl. I wondered how it got clear back there. They ended up putting it back up to the 23, so I think they'd given 5 yards too much there for a little bit.
We'll say 2nd down and 23 then. Pass play, McDonald, the lefty, in trouble, out of the pocket, scrambling, looking downfield, continuing to get the time, and he throws it. It's going to be caught inside the 20-yard line, and still going to be way short of the 1st down.
Again, quick feet by McDonald, though, saved a sack. He was able to get it away from the rush. He had number 11 all alone in the end zone there for a little bit, but he didn't pick him up quick enough, and then one of the Jays jumped on him there, and he had to throw it short.
Scott Stiles will talk to Todd Schulte as he heads back into the locker room at the half. See what his comments are on this first half with just 1:07 remaining. Norwalk St. Paul wanting to score before they make their way back to the locker room. Single back is Pugh. They're going to throw. McDonald gets rid of it, and it's going to be incomplete. I tell you, he had the receiver down there. It was a great job of getting the football off. And I believe Beatty might have been down there, but just couldn't hold on to it on that 3rd down attempt, and that was Dan Beatty, the 6'3", 195-pound senior.
Thing that stopped that play, though, Carl, was Doug Martz came on a blitz, and the quarterback had to throw the ball so quickly he didn't have a chance to let the receiver clear. But if he'd had another second to throw the ball, it would probably been a touchdown.
If he got it spotted at the 19, this would be a 36-yard field goal. Let's see what happens. McDonald going to try to get it with Wangler holding. Kick is up, and it is going to be good as it bounces over the crossbar and goes through. Scott Stiles was standing right. Why didn't you knock that down, Scott?
Because they blocked it at the line of scrimmage. I thought it had no chance, especially coming into the wind, but he just had enough on it. Back to you, Carl.
And so with a field goal, it is now 21-10. St. John's on top of the Flyers of Norwalk St. Paul. At least they got something out of it, Coach.
Yeah, they got something, but I think you'd have to be disappointed if you were St. Paul, because you only get so many chances in a game to get points on the board, and being behind 21-7, and then have to take it to 3 points has got to be a little bit of a letdown. That holding penalty against them certainly hurt their chances of going for the touchdown down there, but at least they did get some points, and maybe that'll fire them up some.
That's the 4th most points allowed by the Blue Jays this year. They gave up 16 to Minster, 14 to Coldwater, and 15 to Ansonia, mostly against second-team defenses, but against the first-team defense, 10 points, but it's doing pretty good.
Well, you know, 7 of them was that kickoff return. I'm not sure you can count that against the first-team defense. Depends on how you want to count it,
the whole scheme of things, I guess we should say, Bill, huh? When you're looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
The big picture now is the only big statistic, and that's on the scoreboard, 21-10. It's the only one they're going to remember.
That's right.
Except I do remember one last year in which, the Jays, McCormick was injured with a shoulder problem, and last year Schulte, with an outstanding game, he had over 300 yards rushing, and I think a lot of folks will remember that game.
Well, I'm sure St. Paul figures points are points, right? No matter how they come.
Especially if they can get them here in the first half, trailing now 21-10. Here we go the other way to the 23. That's Bowers, I believe, down there for Delphos St. John's, and they may run a couple of plays, and that's going to be about it. The first half will come to an end. Halftime show coming up. I'd like to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Westridge Furniture, 238 North Main Street in Delphos, as well as Wright State University Lake Campus in Salina, and the Van Wert County Hospital, South Washington in Van Wert.
More of our sponsors making it possible we're here this morning. Almost this afternoon. Pitch back, Zach Weber up the gut, trying to get to the outside, and he's going to be brought down, but not before he picks up another Blue Jay first down. And that is first down number 7 for St. John's, 4 in the first half for St. Paul.
Yeah, getting a first down, getting the ball almost to the 40, Carl, with 39 seconds to go and 3 timeouts. Delphos may try to get some more points on the board for halftime here. If they can get another big play on this down, they'll probably start using their timeouts.
McCormick wants to throw, setting up a screen to Weber. Weber's got the blockers out in front. They set the blocks. He cuts it back up the middle, and they finally bring him down inside the 50-yard line. But just 18 seconds remaining. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Good job of setting it up by Scott McCormick. The only thing Zach did wrong, I think, was cut it back inside.
Right.
He should have let his blockers do the work for him a little longer, but he likes to use that cutback, and he has that instinct, so you got to turn him loose and let him do his own thing. I guess you can't criticize a 2,000-yard runner, huh? Back to you.
You just did.
But am I right?
He's going to take his hat back from you.
I'll have to talk to him after the game, settle him down again. Get him ready for next year.
You look at Division 6, since they've had a Division 6 back in 1994, St. Henry was your champion in 94. As they knocked off McDonald 21-7 in Massillon. St. Henry 1995. 96, it was Mogador. Remember that game, Coach, against Mogador, St. Henry and Mogador? 61-58 in triple overtime.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was wild.
And then, of course, the last couple of years, Vic Whiting's crew, St. John's beating Norwalk St. Paul 42-28. And then last year, Lancaster Fisher Catholic and Coach Crabtree 26-16. St. John's coming back out on the field. See what they can do here.
Couple more big plays, Carl, at least can get in field goal range here. I don't know what his range is, but he's pretty accurate on his extra points.
McCormick looking downfield on the right sideline. Beatty knocks it down. Pretty good ball player back there.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good things. Number 27 for St. Paul. He's was the one that caught that pass down close to the goal line earlier, and he was in on the fumble recovery. And St. Paul's a good football team, you know, but I'm just not sure their offense is versatile enough to get the points they're going to need.
Remember, Greg Grotehouse had the big game a couple of years ago against St. Paul, scoring 3 touchdowns. Right now, we've got 10 seconds remaining. Pass play, Odenweller, a little bit too much on that one. It's going to set up a 3rd down.
Well, he was open, Carl. If he could get him the ball, he would have been down close to the 20. Might even been farther than that if he could have broke a tackle.
Talked about Chad Schulte against Lancaster Fisher Catholic at Canton last year, around 300 yards, officially 295 yards against Lancaster. St. John's had 397 yards rushing, and that is a single game record rushing wise for any team in Division 6. Well, we've got 8 seconds, and it's a 3rd down and 10. Now they'll shift back into the shotgun. Got 4 receivers, and we got a flag. Maybe too much time, Coach?
That's what I'd guess. Seemed like they took quite a bit of time getting that play off.
And so
I don't think that's going to bother them. 5 yards here doesn't mean a whole lot. They're going to need a big play anyway.
Told you about that game St. Henry was in with Mogador. In that game, Brian Ulenig, the quarterback for St. Henry, had almost 500 yards passing, and that is a record, of course.
Yeah.
3rd down and 15. He's going to keep it on the option. Up the gut himself. Tries to get to the outside, and that's the way this first half is going to come to an end.
Yeah, they called a timeout.
Oh,
Carl.
wait a minute.
Yep. You got 3 seconds.
Field goal time, Coach.
No, I don't think.
What do you think?
I think it's time for a Hail Mary.
Got to bring Gus in.
Yeah. Can McCormick throw the ball over 50 yards? Can he get it to the end zone? Scott ought to be able to answer that question.
Well, I know
He's the
one
old
thing.
Quarterback.
Scott Stiles was trying. You know, I think he was a quarterback for Walpock, and he threw his arm out, throwing from the 25 into the end zone. What do you think, Stiles?
I want to tell you right now, Carl, if you and I had a throwing contest, I'd let you throw 3 times, and my one, I'd still kick your butt. So I wouldn't talk too much.
With a football. Give me a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a baseball.
Hey, McCormick, what I'm witnessing down here, he's having a hard, see his right ankle's once it's swollen, and that's his push-off foot.
We can't see that from up here, Scott.
Well, he's having a hard time pushing off with that thing. That's why I believe he's having a hard time throwing the ball deep, because he can't get any ump on the ball. He's really short-arming is what he's doing. So, we just got to watch for that second half. He's really not very accurate on long pass. Short pass, he's doing a good job because he's strong enough he can just flick it out. But anything over 15 yards, he's having a hard time getting downfield. Back to you, Coach.
So what are they going to call here? They're going to try to throw it deep?
I think what they're going to try to do is maybe just spring a run here. I don't know if they want a chance at throwing something deep here.
Okay, we can expect a throwing down here then.
Think they might give it to Zinger then, huh?
4th down. Zinger goes in motion. Forget that. As we said, they're going to pass. Looking down Zinger's way. Out of the pocket. Let's see him heave it. Now he's going to short heave it, and it's going to be incomplete, and that will do it. We have played one half of action here from Canton's Fawcett Stadium. Our score on the Lone Zone scoreboard is St. John's 21 and St. Paul 10. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
What's up?
Let's go down to Scott Stiles in the sideline, and Scott not going to get a chance right now. We'll go back to him.
Coming out second half.
Okay, we'll get him coming back out in the 3rd quarter. We'll take time out right now. We'll come back with our halftime show right after this.
WOHL, Lima Fox Station, in cooperation with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, is proud to present tonight's playoff game. A fee has been paid to the OHSAA for the broadcast rights in this game. Without the support of the following businesses, this game would not have been possible. The Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Drs. Thomas and Roger Morris at Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. QB Hamburger, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburger. QB East, QB West, and QB Downtown. Delphos Food Locker, now featuring a variety of fresh meats and cheeses and specialty items like soups and appetizers. Stop by the Delphos Food Locker today. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen in fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking at 695-5655. United Equity Incorporated, located in Delphos, Spencerville, and Kossuth. Your locally owned farmers cooperative. Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call Reliable Plumbing and Heating at 695-2921 for all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Reliable also has 24-hour emergency service. Community First Bank and Trust is now offering a 6.0 annual percentage yield CD for 9 months with a minimum deposit of $500. Limited time offer, which may be changed at any time. APY accurate as of announcement date for personal deposits of less than $100,000. Interest penalty for early withdrawals. Member FDIC. Lion Clothing of Delphos. Stop by Lion Clothing for great gift shopping for the men on your holiday list. Also check out silk screen and embroidery at Lion Clothing for jackets, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. Championship t-shirts and sweatshirts available next week. S&K Mower Sales and Service, located 1 mile south on Main Street in Bluffton, featuring a full line of Simplicity outdoor power equipment. LATT Landscaping of Delphos. For all your lawn maintenance and landscaping needs, call 692-0091. LATT Landscaping congratulates everyone who had a hand in the 1999 championship season. Players, coaches, cheerleaders, and band members, great job, everyone. WOHL Lima's Fox Station has been proud to bring you our 1999 high school football season. We would like to thank all of our advertisers and underwriters for their continued support. They are the reason WOHL can continue to offer you, our viewers, the best area high school sports. Please let them know you appreciate them too. Congratulations to all student athletes for a great 1999 football season.
And at Raby's, we do make it fun again with the all-new 2000 Ford Focus, ready to lead into the new millennium. Or be the first in your neighborhood with the newly designed 2000 Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable with the lowest prices anywhere. Plus, if you're ready for a new truck, Raby's will throw in $300 worth of free accessories on all F-Series in stock. It's your choice. Visit Raby's, Allen County's only dual floor Lincoln Mercury dealer in Delphos today.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Colgan Man.
You hear it at 743 Hickory Street.
They are.
You hear it above the din.
Hey, Colgan Man.
You hear it among the quiet. It's the sound of Culligan water being delivered to your door.
Now rent a Culligan water conditioner for just 99 cents a month. Call Culligan for details today.
Welcome back. We've got a half in the books, and right now the score 21-10. Delphos St. John's on top of the Flyers from Norwalk St. Paul. Halftime show, as always, brought to you by our good friends at Van Dyne Crotty of Delphos, uniforms that work. And we will say for the final time this year, brought to you by Van Dyne Crotty. We thank those folks for being with us all season long, and they have been with us for a long time now. And we thank the fine folks at Van Dyne Crotty. Why don't we first review the keys, Coach? How are things going?
Well, you know, I don't think St. Paul's offense has done that much against St. John's defense, and that's the big key. Of course, we did have the big play on the specialty teams, was a plus for St. Paul, but in the turnover department, they turned around and gave it back when they fumbled the ball into the end zone, and St. John's recovered it. So those two touchdowns kind of offset each other. So the keys, again, is still, I think, St. Paul's got to do a better job on offense. They're going to have a chance in this game.
Okay, why don't we take this 30-second timeout? We'll come back with more right after this.
We're proud to be ranked #1 in the uniform industry. But more importantly, we've been voted #1 for 2 years right here in West Central Ohio. Let our dedicated staff make your business look like a winner with our smart and professional uniforms. Your business will look like a winner with professional uniforms delivered right to your door. Our customized entry mats will make a great first impression with all your customers. Keep your employees and your business looking sharp with Van Dyne Crotty.
WOHL Limas Fox Station, in cooperation with the Ohio High School Athletic Association, is proud to present tonight's playoff game. A fee has been paid to the OHSAA for the broadcast rights of this game. Without the support of the following businesses, this game would not have been possible. Morris Chiropractic Clinic. Make a U-turn to health. Visit Drs. Thomas and Roger Morris at Morris Chiropractic Clinic in Delphos. QB Hamburger, home of the Mighty Nice Hamburger. QB East, QB West, and QB Downtown. Delphos Food Locker, now featuring a variety of fresh meats and cheeses and specialty items like soups and appetizers. Stop by the Delphos Food Locker today. A&J Woodworking, expert craftsmen in fine cabinetry and certified Corian fabricators. Call A&J Woodworking at 695-5655. United Equity Incorporated, located in Delphos, Spencerville, and Kasuth. Your locally owned farmers cooperative. Reliable Plumbing and Heating. Call Reliable Plumbing and Heating at 695-2921 for all your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. Reliable also has 24-hour emergency service. Community First Bank and Trust is now offering a 6.0 annual percentage yield CD for 9 months with a minimum deposit of $500. Limited time offer, which may be changed at any time. APY accurate as of announcement date. Personal deposits of less than $100,000. Interest penalty for early withdrawals. Member FDIC. Lion Clothing of Delphos. Stop by Lion Clothing for great gift shopping for the men on your holiday list. Also check out silk screen and embroidery at Lion Clothing for jackets, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. Championship t-shirts and sweatshirts available next week. S&K Mower Sales and Service, located 1 mile south on Main Street in Bluffton, featuring a full line of Simplicity outdoor power equipment. LATT Landscaping of Delphos. For all your lawn maintenance and landscaping needs, call 692-0091. LATT Landscaping congratulates everyone who had a hand in the 1999 championship season. Players, coaches, cheerleaders, and fan members, great job, everyone. WOHL Limas Fox Station has been proud to bring you our 1999 high school football season. We would like to thank all of our advertisers and underwriters for their continued support. They are the reason WOHL can continue to offer you, our viewers, the best area high school sports. Please let them know you appreciate them, too. Congratulations to all student athletes for a great 1999 football season.
First half numbers, first down, St. John's with 8, St. Paul with 4. Rushing, 17 carries for the Blue Jays, 116 yards, 18 for St. Paul for 23 yards. So not a lot going on for the rushing attack for the Flyers. Passing yards, 102 for the Blue Jays, 49 for St. Paul. Passing, McCormick 6 of 12 in the first half. And for McDonald, he was 3 of 5. Plays overall, 29 plays for the Jays, 218 total yards,
23 plays for St. Paul for 72 total yards. One big touchdown on the kickoff return for Norwalk St. Paul. Checking fumbles, 1 in that first half for St. Paul, and also 1 for Delphos St. John's. Penalties, 4 for the Blue Jays, 36 yards, 3 for St. Paul for 32 yards. And time of possession, Coach, actually going to St. Paul, 13 minutes, 2 seconds to the Blue Jays, 10:58. But again, that doesn't matter a whole bunch when you are down 21-10.
Well, the big play, I think, for St. Paul was when they gave St. John's that touchdown. If they'd been able to not have done that and went into halftime only down 14-10, then it had been an altogether different story. But when you're 2 scores down again against this St. John's defense, that's going to be awful hard to overcome, Carl.
Zach had 1 big carry in that first half. It helped him out with his numbers, 86 yards in the first half. Jason Pugh with just 29 total yards in the first half. St. John Blue Jay band getting the thrill of their lifetimes as well, coming out here on Canton's Fawcett Stadium field to perform in front of their hometown fans. A bunch of family members as well up in the stands and doing a fine job. Halftime show brought to you by our good friends at Van Dyne Crotty of Delphos. Uniforms that work. Going to take time out when we come back. Third quarter action coming up right after these very important words on Fox.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could synchronize traffic to your every movement? If you could do away with all obstacles? Even make trains run on your schedule. It's like that at Shell, where our stations are designed so nothing slows you down. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
For years, since you were a very small child, we've been helping your family. Always there, quietly providing support when it was needed. Now it's your turn. A family of your own, with all the joys and responsibilities that families bring. And we're still right here, where we've always been.
Citizens Bank of Delphos, your hometown bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You may think that your kid's brain is so crammed with other stuff that an idea from you couldn't possibly fit into his head. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions, like whether or not to drink, kids say parents have more influence than anyone else. So get into your kid's head. Believe it or not, he'll make room for you.
There's always something cooking at the Carriage Inn in Delphos. Whether it's soups, salads, sandwiches, lunch, or dinner, the Carriage Inn in Delphos has home-cooked recipes for all ages. Lots to choose from on the sandwich board. There's a different kind of soup in the kettle every day, and the dinner entrees are magnifique. A Friday night tradition in Delphos is Carriage Inn fish, all you care to eat, and plenty of sides to go with it. If you can find room, sample a piece of homemade pie, baked daily, at the Carriage Inn, 1201 East 5th Street in Delphos.
Can I offer you some help? If you've been injured in an accident, we can help. At Dyer, Groffel, Mann & Schultz, we have tough, smart attorneys who handle all types of injury claims. Call us at 223-8888 for a free appointment, and let us fight for you.
Just wear it. That's sportswear from Cappy Sports Company, your silkscreen and embroidery specialists. Just design it. Our trained artist will design your custom artwork while you wait. Cheer on your high school team with school jackets and spirit wear from Cappy Sports. Personalize your company logo with our full line of ad specialties items. Come join the Cappy family, locally owned and operated, providing 10 years of quality service to the Lima community. Located at 3225 West Elm Street in Lima.
For dinner.
You're not falling back on fast food again, are you? Quit feeling guilty about not having a home-cooked family meal because we have the greatest idea for you. Yoder's Home-Style Family of Foods. Yoder's mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, and cranberry relish go great with any entree. You can reheat them in the oven or microwave and serve in 5 minutes. No peeling, no cleaning, and no fuss. Yoder's Home-Style Family of Foods. You can find them in the meat, deli, or dairy department at your local grocer.
Welcome back to Canton. We are at the half, getting ready for the third quarter of play. The Delphos St. John Blue Jays just a half away, 24 minutes away from their third straight Division VI state championship high school football game. And the score right now, 21-10 in favor of Delphos St. John's. As the Blue Jays going into the locker room to try to talk things over. Let's check with Scott Stiles with head coach Todd Schulte.
Well, buddy, defense wins the games, and defense, they were put in a couple predicaments, but overall they've done a heck of a job to keep your lead in the game.
Yeah, our defense is playing an outstanding game right now. We just need to do some adjustments we made here at halftime with our offense. Some things that they're doing a nice job of taking away things, and we're going to make our adjustments and go from there.
Okay, good luck the second half. You're half away from the state title.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Scott. About time for you to break that hat up out of your collection of hats. Get over this sideline so Red Newmeyer can be proud, Scott, that you're wearing his hat.
Okay, Carl.
Mayor Scott, you seem kind of low-key over there. What's going on down there? Are you tired or something?
I'm losing my voice. Huh? And actually, the Nieper boys showed up.
Do you know the Niepers?
Huh?
You know the Niepers, do you? Are they there down on the sideline?
Yeah,
are they?
I guess they had to make a couple of stops along the side of the road this morning on the way to the game.
Yeah.
But they are here, and they wanted me to tell you hi. And
that's good. Are they going to be taking pictures on the sideline?
They are taking some pictures on the sideline, and
okay.
They said, "Well, see you tonight."
Well, it's good to know they're here, and I'm glad you're making your way back over here. And again, we like to say, I know that we don't get a chance to say it enough, but I'd like to thank our good friends from the Carriage Inn, and we've been having some pie testing up here. We've got pie from Red Newmeyer, and got a pie from the Carriage Inn, and I tell you, Bill, the Red went way out of his way to keep the pie all heated for us, and had it wrapped up about 6 layers of aluminum foil with a beach towel wrapped around it, and came out piping hot. Now, you're kind of a pie aficionado. Now, what kind of pie specifically was that one?
I think that was just apple pie with crumble top, and then the other was Dutch apple. Had some nuts and some things in there with the apples, and both of them were great. And I'm a connoisseur of pie.
You are.
Carl.
And our CEO, Bob Heitmeyer, also had about 4 or 5 different pieces to make sure that he could tell the difference, and we kind of all just said they're both pretty even. But thanks to the Carriage Inn. Oh, we also have to thank our good friends from Culligan. Hey, Culligan man. Culligan, the official water sponsor of high school sports on Lima's Fox Station. They brought us a big case of water up. And I tell you, when you're thirsty like we are up here, it's always good. I've had 2 bottles already. It's a lot cheaper than those. Usually it's $2 a bottle for water, and we get it for free.
When you eat 6 pieces of pie, two bottles of water is probably about right.
Hey, Scott, you know that? We got water up here in the press box. We'll have to bring you down a couple bottles of water. We kept it all up here for ourselves.
Unless you're going to charge me $2 a bottle.
No, I'll give it to you for nothing.
Does Scott drink water?
He drinks a lot of water.
That's not what I heard.
When he drinks it when he doesn't even want it sometimes. That's the way Scott is.
Better milk. I'm a milk guy, too,
Fortunately, Culligan, and Culligan did that all last year for us in high school basketball, and we hope we have that relationship again with them this year, because it's always nice to have water at our high school games, because it says right here, the official water sponsor of high school sports on Lima's Fox Station. So we're looking forward to that. Captains are meeting out there at a 50-yard line. You got Pugh and Martz out there. Yeah, get some caramel with that for each game, too, and we'll be in good shape. Candy and water. It doesn't get any better than that. And they're talking things over, and talk about good athletes, Bill. You got Doug Martz standing out there at the 50-yard line, along with Mr. Pugh for the Flyers of Norwalk St. Paul. And they've discussed it.
I really don't know what's taking them so long.
I don't know.
Remember, these are our crack officials, the best in the state.
Now, we knew that St. John's was going to get the football here.
We knew that an hour ago.
Yeah. So this is kind of for ceremonial purposes, Bill, or what?
I guess.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to also thank Ron Coons, who's done a stellar job all season long for a gentleman of his age to be able to stand down there on the sidelines week after week, game after game. No coat on here. This is what you look at the weather. Ron Coons has taken off his parka, and he is standing down there in the elements. And we appreciate Ron for the fine job he's done all season long. And
so you're the only one shaking, Carl. I don't understand it.
Even up here. Well, it's in the 50s today. Well, it's probably in the 60s, isn't it? I don't know. We're not down there, out there in it, so we don't really know. But the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers ready to kick the football off to Delphos St. John's. The Blue Jays up 21-10. Here we go. Donald gets foot into it. Going to be taken at the 14-yard line. Zach Weber, 30. And Zach's going to get out to about the 35-yard line. That is where the Blue Jays will set up their offense, 1st and 10. Well, if you're Coach Lavengood on the other side of the field, Coach, what do you tell your team in the locker room about how to stop this offense?
Well, I think they just got to do a little better job on pass coverage. If they can do that and keep the run like they had the first half, I think the key here for them is they can't give up any more points because, they're not going to score a bunch. So they got to keep St. John's at 21 if they can.
And they give it to their fullback, Miller. And what a job Adam has done this season for St. John's. Stepping into a lineup like this, Coach, as only a sophomore. And you know that when you're fullback for Delphos St. John's, what you're going to mostly do is block for guys like Zach Weber. And Adam Miller at 6'2", 196 pounds, has done that, but also picked up over 400 yards.
Well, he's gotten better and better, I think, Carl, as the years went on. I've really been impressed with his running here the last 2 or 3 ball games.
And they'll run the option. McCormick going to keep it a little bit longer, cuts it back upfield, 1st down inside the 50-yard line of the Flyers.
You can see McCormick's really favoring his ankle there, Carl. When he tries to cut, you can see it took him about 3 steps to cut, and last week he was planting that foot and he's been gone. So it is bothering him a little bit, but he's still got, 10 yards or so. It was a good job reading the option and faked the pitch and kept it.
When you get to the championship game, all the big shots from the OHSAA come around. Saw Claire Muscaro here. Looking for Bob Arnzen. Hands it off to Miller again, and he picks up 5, 6, 7 yards, keeps on going. Claire Muscaro has been around a long time for the OHSAA. And when this whole game is over, there will be festivities on the field. We also will have our 5th quarter, in which we'll talk to some of the football players and Coach Todd Schulte. Also, the Blue Jays, remember, having their homecoming celebration Sunday at the Robert A. Arnzen Gymnasium. Don Heisman tells me everything gets underway at 6:30. 2nd down 4 for the 43-yard line. McCormick pitch Weber. Weber right behind the blocking of McCormick picks up the 1st down. Continues to go. He's going to go all the way. Zach Weber, touchdown Blue Jays. Zach Weber from 43 yards out scores the touchdown to put the Jays up 27-10. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
What happened was, Carl, is he got lost in the crowd. He kept his feet going, did a great job of just using his feet and legs, driving, breaking tackles. He got behind the big hogs, they cleared away, and he broke free, and he was gone. They lost him in the crowd, and he's off to the races. Back to you.
I think it's official. Scott Stiles is losing his voice. I don't know what's happened.
Guy sounds good, doesn't it?
What he's been doing, but he's lost his voice.
Too bad it could have happened sooner.
Extra point Bittler, and he does what he usually does. He puts it through, so nice job by Mike. Now 28-10. And as I say, every week we do the Jays about this point in the ball game, and sometimes it comes in the 1st quarter in some games, but you usually know by the 3rd quarter. It looks like Norwalk St. Paul's in big trouble, Bill.
Well, like I said earlier, Carl, they even coming out this half, if they could have kept St. John's at 21, they might have had a chance. But, to try to come up with the points needed against St. John's defense, now they're down 18. They got to have 3 scores. That's going to be awfully hard to do.
I'd like to thank, again, some of our great sponsors. Lion Clothing, great gift shopping for the men on your holiday list. And check out silk screening and embroidery for jackets, T-shirts, and sweatshirts. Plus, John has those championship T-shirts and sweatshirts available next week. Maybe John will give us a couple of those, Bill.
That'd
John
be nice.
Odenweller at Lion Clothing. Of course, you know that John Odenweller, the split end for the Delphos St. John Blue Jays, number 24.
Interesting to see what St. Paul tries to do on offense now, Carl, since they are down 18 points, whether they'll just keep running the ball and sticking with what they've been doing the first half, or whether they're going to go to more of a passing game, or just what they're going to try to catch up.
Here we go. Mart's ready to kick it off, and a couple of guys back deep for the Flyers, and this time they're going to get it to Smiley down there. Picks it up at the 5, up to the 14-yard line, and that's where he's going to go down. And so it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Aiden McDonald and his crew. And they've got a lot of catching up to do if they're going to try to get back into this game with Delphos St. John's.
I don't know what St. Paul has done in the past, because they haven't really been behind that many games this year, Carl. So I don't know if they got a more wide open passing approach or not. But looking at this first series, looks like they're sticking with their run. They just turn around and hand the ball to Depew again on the inside power play, and they again only made a couple yards.
When you look at the offensive line for Norwalk, they've got Rosbert at 195 at center. The two guards, Herbst 215, Miller 185. The tackles, Welch 220 and Bobers at 225. So they're not really lacking size, Coach, but they're just going up against a defensive line of Capcar, 6'6", 202, Jackson at 250, Schwinnon at 205, and doesn't matter what size Rocky is. He's a wild man at 189. He gets all over the place. They run the pass play. Nice catch by Beatty for a 1st down. And then a fumble. Is that what we had, or did it squirt loose or not?
I don't think, Carl. I think he was down.
Okay, so it's going to be a 1st down for Norwalk St. Paul. Now you look at Schwinnon. What a season he has had. Their right defensive tackle. 9 sacks on the season. And you got Rocky in there, Coach, who leads the Jays with 15 sacks and 87 tackles. The backers, Ardner 121 tackles, Recker with 107, Martz with 105, Chad Martin, who's not even a starter, with 117 tackles for the Jays. 1st and 10 from the 30. And again, nothing going on there, as we've been saying all day long. Craig Hershey with 92 tackles at cornerback. Grodhouse with 65 and also 8 interceptions. And then, as we mentioned before, Jeff Fisher with 125 tackles and Hain with almost 50 tackles. So what more can you say?
Well, Carl, I think the key really to St. John's defense is they're able to play 8 guys up there, a lot of times 7 guys, get all the linebackers involved in stopping the run, because they got those defensive backs that can do a great job covering over receivers one-on-one. So they're allowed to commit the rest of them to stop the running plays.
McDonald's in trouble, and he gets free somehow. He got a couple blockers up there. Ardner's after him, and now Martz goes over and pushes him out of bounds, and somebody went down on their back over there on the sideline for St. John's, and it wasn't a player in uniform. It looked like somebody in his street clothes, and he got slammed down pretty good.
Yeah, I think that might have been the hardest hit of the game, Carl.
And with all that running around on the field, they still picked up only a couple of yards, going to set up a 3rd down.
Yeah, getting back to the St. John's defense, like I said, I still think the key is those defensive backs, Hershey, Fisher, Grodhouse. Those guys all do a great job covering the receivers, and the other guys then can stack up the line of scrimmage and stop the run, and that's pretty much what they've done.
McDonald wants to throw. The lefty gets it to a receiver, and that should be
a little short.
Boy, yeah, it's going to be short. How he held on to that, I don't know. The receiver down there for Norwalk St. Paul was number 19, Adam Ensley. And so with a pass completion, but short, that means it's going to be 4th down, and they're going to have to punt the football away. And moving back from the quarterback spot to the punting position now will be McDonald. Hershey and Fisher back deep for the Jays. Kick from the 30. It's a nice kick. Going to be angling towards Fisher. He lets it go. Now he wisely picks it up. Tries to go back. Cuts it back to the outside, and he will go down inside the 20-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Jays. Let's go down to the horse, Scott Stiles.
Actually, the hardest hit of the game was taken by the 8-year-old ball boy down here, but he got right back up. That's why they win 3 state championships in a row. They raise them tough. You get knocked down, you get back up. Now, if that would have been Carl Metzger, I would have been picking him up here in the 4th row, but not this ball boy. He's tough. He got back up, threw the ball to the ref, said, here you go, buddy. Back to you.
Did you get that hat out yet?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, we'll go to you here in a couple seconds. You can don that as soon as you find Coonsey.
Take your time.
1st and 10 for the Jays. Pitch back, Zach Weber. Weber trying to cut it, and he will. Back up the middle, pick up about 5 or 6 yards. Zach now with over 130 yards rushing in this football game. He is, of course, the leading ground gainer. Leading ball carrier for St. Paul is Jason Pugh, and look what they've done to him today, Coach. 15 carries for 31 yards.
Yeah, I kind of expected that. I didn't think they were going to be able to just run straight ahead against St. John's. No one else has been able to, and that's just not a good game plan against the Blue Jays.
There's the option again, McCormick, and he picks up some big yardage, picks up the 1st down, then gets out of bounds. We're down to 6 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. St. John's up on the Lone Zone scoreboard, 28-10. Like to thank Skyline Chili. Oh, Mr. Grodhouse and the gang with some great chili over there, located at 1990 Harding Highway in Lima. You know, Bill, you go on Tuesday nights, kids eat free. Not all night, I don't think. It's during a certain time, but got some great things going on over there. We hope to see the gang from Skyline bring some chili to us during high school basketball games as well. We can always eat that there. It's good stuff.
Sounds good.
1st and 10 from the 32. Zach cutting it back again. If he can get to the outside, he will not, though. He is brought down and going to be around the 41-yard line. That was one of those rodeo tackles there, Bill.
Yeah.
Brought down by number 45. That is Jason King.
Zach's up to 143 yards, Carl. Remember, after 6 carries, he only had something like 10 yards. So in these last 4 carries, he's got about 130 yards. That's the difference between him and a lot of running backs. You can contain him for a while, but, you know, it just seems like it's a matter of time, and he'll break the big one against you.
St. John's has held Norwalk St. Paul to under 100 yards in total offense. They are now at 95. St. John's with 306 total yards. They fake the pitch, and they hand the football off to the fullback, Miller, and look at him bowl his way forward. That's the thing about Adam. He don't mess around. Give him the football, and he just takes it off straight ahead and gets what he can. And he usually won't go down on the first tackle.
That's right, Carl. He goes towards the goal line. That's what a coach likes to see. He doesn't run towards the sidelines. He goes north and south. And as you said, he breaks tackles. And being a sophomore, he's only going to get better. And, of course, Weber's back, so they got two good running backs coming back next year. If they can replace some of that lineman, they're going to be right back at it again, I'm sure, next year.
Quarterback McCormick going to his tight end. Morris catches the ball. 1st down, Delphos St. John's. Ryan Morris, the 6'4", 204-pound senior, with another catch. He came into the ball game with 24 catches. And let's see, Ryan's got his
got to make it
3rd. Is that 3 now? He's got 3 for around 30-some yards. There they go. They updated it for us. So Ryan with 38 yards now and 3 catches. Odenweller a couple of catches for 31 yards. And Becker and Weber both have a reception here today. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. 5:17 remaining, 3rd quarter. Hand off to Weber. Weber hitting the line and going down after a pickup of about a yard or 2. Time of possession still favoring St. Paul. They've had almost 16 minutes of time. The Blue Jays with about 12.5 minutes.
Well, the difference there, Carl, has been Delphos had some big plays, and when you know, Weber's ran off a couple long runs, and when you get your yardage, it's 30, 40, 50, 60 yards at a crack, you don't keep the ball that long.
2nd down, 8 from the 37. Pass play, McCormick wants to go short, now wants to run, and he's brought down right at the original line of scrimmage, and they stopped him by grabbing that ankle of Scott McCormick.
Looked like he started to throw the ball on a hook there, Carl. I'm not sure whether the ball kind of slipped out of his hands or whether he's trying to run a curl and go. But it looked like he could, if he'd have thrown it when the receiver curled, he had him open. But like I said, I'm not sure whether there was a curl and go or it slipped out of his hand a little bit.
McCormick wants to throw again, looking downfield. There's his tight end, but it goes incomplete. St. John's wins today, and it looks like they're in pretty good shape right now. They will join about 27 other schools in the state of Ohio that will now have 3 state championships. And I'm looking at one of them, Coach, because I was talking to Don Heisman before the game. He told me about the Blue Jays' schedule for next year. They're going to start out the season with Warren, JFK, and then they play Fairview, game number 2. And then game 3, they're going to play Hamilton-Baden. And I noticed that Hamilton-Baden has 3 state championships.
But they've been a good team over the years. I'm not real familiar how they did this year, but over the years, they've certainly been a good football school.
And then, of course, the Blue Jays will get into their max schedule. And a couple of years from now, they can throw in Versailles. And remember, this game today will give St. John's, if they win, their 44th consecutive victory. Now, if you read that article the other day in the Lima News, they're talking about the most wins consecutively. What is it, 54, I believe? And the Jays would have to win 10 more to tie that record. And that would mean, of course, next season, if they win at least, you're going to need maybe 7 or 8 wins, Coach, to get in the playoffs again. And if you win some tournament games, that could happen. Well, you couldn't do it if consecutive-wise, I'm saying. But Marsh with the fake punt keeps it. We've seen this several times this year. And look at him. He's going to go forward for the first down. And he keeps on going. Doug March doing it all for the Blue Jays with 3:43 remaining here in this third quarter. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Well, Carl, that is not a play called. That's something he does on his own. He's told to read that. If they see that they're peeling off like that, they lead a contingent of blockers to the right side, and he follows them. That's his own call, and he did a great job. For a while there, I didn't think he was going to make it because he had a long way to go, but he ran, lowered his shoulder a little bit, broke a couple tackles, and got the first down. I can't believe Norwalk St. Paul would even peel off and try to set up a return. In this situation, you think they'd go for a safety. If they kick it out of bounds or in the end zone, what the heck, Don't give up a big play like that. Back to you.
Well, as Scott Stiles would say, the nails are in the coffin right now. They're ready to take the hammer and beat them all the way down. Scott McCormick looking to throw. Look at the time he has. He goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Jays. This time it's Ryan Morris, the tight end, who will get the touchdown. His 4th reception this afternoon. The Jays in command, 34-10. Let's go down to Scott again.
Well, it's a little redemption for Ryan Morris, guys. You remember earlier he was out with the game. Didn't know if he's going to be able to come back in. He's a senior. This is his last football game of his career, maybe, and he wanted to make it a good one. There he gets his touchdown. Big lift for him and this football team as they're starting to close out Norwalk St. Paul and go for the 3rd straight title. Back to you.
And some of the fans for Norwalk St. Paul starting to file out of the stadium here in the 3rd quarter with 3:16 remaining. Kick is up, and it is good, and the Jays up 35-10. And I tell you one thing right now, as you look on that sideline, you're starting to see some other players get kind of rambunctious over there, Coach, because if it continues like it is right now, it'll be a chance for some of those seniors and juniors who may not play as much as these guys out here get to always play. And then those sophomores, of course, and these young guys down there wanting to get in to get some experience to say that they played in the state championship game.
Well, I'm sure that's true, Carl. Everybody's dream is to play in the state championship game, and I'm sure St. John's is going to get as many of those kids some playing time as they can. And as you said, with a nice 25-point lead here, it's still in the 3rd quarter. I'm sure they're all going to, or a lot of them at least, are going to get a chance to get out there.
And look at that advantage, Coach, going into like next season when you've got so many of these young guys who've had varsity experience that have been able to come in and play. And a lot of times it's going to be against maybe second teams as well, but just being able to come out on the field. And a lot of times they're playing against the first team, obviously, because the other teams need to get back into it. So it's just keeps the old engine a-humming, the way the Blue Jays keep coming back year after year.
Well, there's no doubt the success breeds success, Carl. You've heard that for years, I'm sure, and that's certainly true in football, and I think that's why you see a team like St. Ignatius, they're going to be here tonight in the Division I game. How many times they've been down here, and it helps to, once you get on a roll, it certainly helps.
There's the kick taken by Smiley at about the 7-yard line across the 15, gets to the 18-20 and goes down. I don't know. I usually have 1,000 things here written on statistics and such and streaks, but don't see here how many teams have won 3 consecutive state championships.
I know you were talking earlier about the number of teams that had won 3 championships, and I was thinking when you said that, I bet not many of them got theirs. They're 3 years in a row like Delphos has, so I'm not sure that stat either, but I can't imagine there's too many. St. Ignatius may be one, I would guess, maybe Moeller in some of the earlier years. Versailles, I think, might have won 3 in a row. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't be very many.
McDonald gets out of the pocket, picks up about 5, then 10, and he is going to get ran into the Blue Jays sidelines. And
I think we got a clip over there, Carl. See, looked to me like a clip, and I saw the ref throw his yellow hanky down out there. So, yeah, it's a clip, so that's going to come back.
Well, positive yardage for the Flyers will still bring it back, so it's going to set up a first down with 3 minutes and 1 second remaining here in this third quarter. Okay, here we go. Top-ranked St. John's is looking to become the first Division VI school to win 3 straight state titles. Newark Catholic holds the small school record for consecutive state titles when it won 4 straight Division V crowns. Prior, of course, that's before they became a Division VI. That was between 84 and 87. Okay.
That's the only other school that's done it?
That's what it says.
In all divisions?
That's what it says.
Or just the small one?
The first Division VI school to win 3 straight. Newark Catholic holds a small school record, so this was just in reference to small schools. Back to pass, looking downfield, McDonald talking to his receiver, and Fisher had his hands on it. And he knows that possibly he could have picked that baby off. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Hey, guys, I'm with the other half of this family affair today. Chad Schulte. Chad, he had 295 yards last year. Your brother's going for his first state championship this year. What's it mean for your family this week?
Oh, it was very big. You know, we're all behind each other 100%. And we just wish Todd the best of luck. You know, coming in first year, he's kind of nervous about everything, but looks like he's doing a pretty good job.
And last year, you fought through some injuries, and then you came back and had your biggest game of your career last year in the state final.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a great feeling to go out with a bang like that. Team went out well. It was just unbelievable.
Well, as you can see, Carl, all of our fans, me and Schulte's fans, are back here yelling at us, so we'll get it back up to you because I'm sure you're having a hard time hearing us.
I heard some interesting comments from those guys up there. Sound like where you were at.
Huh?
Nothing.
I hear you.
Get your hat on. That's what I'm looking for yet. Did you see that last hit in there, Coach? Coming in there after that reception, coming in for Delphos St. John's, I believe was Randy Grodhouse, and just leveling the receiver.
Somebody laid the leather to him, but I didn't get the number, Carl.
I believe it was Grodhouse, so it's going to set up a third down situation as time continues to tick away here in the third quarter. 35-10, Delphos St. John's on top. Flyers need to get a couple of yards to keep this drive going. They pitch it back to Pugh. He fumbles the football. It's still up for grabs. Picked up by the quarterback, McDonald, and he is going to be leveled by Fisher at the 23, and I bet he wishes he never got the ball back.
He's a tough customer. He's jumped right up, Carl. He's an excellent football player. He's their quarterback. He's their punter. He's their kickoff man, extra point man. I bet he's probably been in some pass, punt, kick contests when he was younger because he does a little bit of all of it for St. Paul. Getting back to some of the streaks, I was looking here, Carl. It's with St. Ignatius. They won 5 in a row from 91 to 95. And they also won in 88 and 89, but they didn't in 90. So they won like 7 out of 8 there at one stretch. 5 straight.
Kick is going to be a short one. Bounces at the 49-yard line. Fisher picks it up. Gets it back to the 49, 50. Continues forward to about the 45-yard line. And St. John's will get it again with 1:05 remaining in this third quarter of play.
Get it again. Great field position.
This is the 28th annual Ohio High School Athletic Association football tournament.
And this year, of course, again, Bill, playing at 2 locations. They've done that the last few years at Canton and Massillon. What's the reaction you've been hearing from the coaches?
Well, the coaches really don't like it that well because the travel's so hard. The traffic's so bad, and you have to run from one to the other. But the reason they say they do it, it makes it a little easy on the host schools. They have a little more time between games and try to have 6 games at one site and keep the place cleaned up and so forth. Would be tough, but it's kind of tough traveling back and forth too.
Miller picks up about 4 yards on that carry. Sets up a 2nd down and 4. Jays will probably get off about 1 more play here unless they run a pass play or get knocked out of bounds. 32 teams, 32 schools making their first appearance in the football tournaments this year. As they hand the football off to Weber, he's going to go down and lose a couple of yards on that. And Zach with now just 12 carries, Coach, in this game for 143 yards.
That's a play I haven't seen St. John's use that much, Carl. They like to run that pit toss and run off tackle or outside. That time they tossed it to Weber, and then they ran kind of a counter out of it where it was kind of like a counter tray where he took a couple steps to his right and the guard and tackle pulled, and then he came back to his left. But St. Paul was there to stop him for no gain, or maybe even lost a little bit.
Well, that's it for the 3rd quarter. We got 12 minutes remaining for St. John's to win their 3rd straight. Score right now, the Blue Jays 35, Norwalk St. Paul 10. Final quarter coming up next on Fox.
Ever heard of drive-in claim service? No? Well, who's your insurance agent?
Your local Allstate agents are Jim and Karen Dickman on Elida Road in Delphos. Call them at 692-2236.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Tonight's the night I'm going to pop the question.
So did you get the ring yet?
No. I wanted to get her something that says, I'm really in this for the long haul. It's a trade. What? I'm making a commitment here.
Trust your home to the full-service, energy-efficient heat pump specialists, Conevy & Sons Plumbing and Heating in Kalida. Electric heat pumps, heat, cool, and save.
My accountant has turned me into Santa Claus. He wants me to get rid of 50 new Buicks and GMCs before the year ends as a tax write-off. My go see if he wants me to give one away. Yes, if you buy a vehicle from Tom Alls before Christmas, you could be the winner of a free 3-year lease on a 2000 Century. Tax write-off prices on all leftover new 99 GMCs is topped to $1,000 under invoice, plus rebates up to $2,500. 2000 Sonoma pickups with air and automatic, only $99 a month. It's the before Christmas tax write-off sale at Tom Alls, where deals are so good you can get one free.
You may think that your kid's brain is so crammed with other stuff that an idea from you couldn't possibly fit into his head. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions like whether or not to drink, kids say parents have more influence than anyone else. So get into your kid's head. Believe it or not, he'll make room for you.
Let me tell you about this supernatural sense of smell I have. It's telling me I can get 5 roast beef sandwiches for only $5.55. Dig that slow roasted aroma. That's horse's sauce. No, wait, that's Arby's sauce. Any way you dress them up, you get 5 sweet smelling sandwiches for only $5.55. And I understand they look pretty good, too.
You can go anywhere and get filled up, but you can only get the 5 for $5.55 deal at Arby's.
For years, since you were a very small child, we've been helping your family. Always there, quietly providing support when it was needed. Now it's your turn. A family of your own, with all the joys and responsibilities that families bring. And we're still right here, where we've always been.
Citizens Bank of Delphos, your hometown bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Get into the swing of things at CR Golf in Delphos. Before you hit the course, work on your swing at CR Golf's indoor range. CR Golf, 331 North Main in downtown Delphos.
Just wear it. That's sportswear from Cappy Sports Company, your silkscreen and embroidery specialists. Just design it. Our trained artist will design your custom artwork while you wait. Cheer on your high school team with school jackets and spirit wear from Cappy Sports. Personalize your company logo with our full line of ad specialties items. Come join the Cappy family, locally owned and operated, providing 10 years of quality service to the Lima community. Located at 3225 West Elm Street in Lima.
Back ready for the fourth quarter. 35-10 our score. McCormick wants to throw. An out pattern is going to bounce. Incomplete. Now we talked about the most straight state championships. Most consecutive appearances, Coach, in the 28-year history of this tournament goes to Cleveland St. Ignatius. 12 consecutive years between 88 and 99. And then from that point on, as you look down through the small schools that we would recognize, St. Henry would be up there, 8 in a row between 92 and 99. Fourth down situation of the Jays. They got a punt. Martz almost has it blocked. It's going to bounce at the 19-yard line. Takes a nice Blue Jay bounce all the way down to the 10. And 90 yards to go for pay dirt for Norwalk St. Paul, something they don't want to have to face here in the fourth quarter, already down 35-10. Scott Stiles, I believe, is down on the sideline. Let's go down to, he's actually down in the end zone, something that Scott's not familiar with, being in the end zone.
Yeah, I never saw the end zone much during my career. It's kind of different for me.
Who you got down there?
I'm with my buddy Vic. Vic's back. Vic Whiting's back this week. I'll tell you what, the last 2 years, this was your home the first week of December. Now you're in a new area. What's your feelings going in this week knowing these guys were coming back?
Oh, we knew we were going to be here all year long. I mean, we had a great nucleus coming back of kids and talented. And oh, here comes a safety. Oh, it's close.
You don't take over Carl's job. He starts getting upset about that.
Hey, this is a great group of seniors this year. That was the key. We had a lot of leadership out of this group, and they set their sights on this place. You know, it was kind of odd a couple years ago. A couple of these guys were sophomores and weren't playing a whole lot. They were reserve players, and they didn't take the state championship rings because they said they were going to get their own.
I will tell you, they had a neat article in the Lima News this week. I don't know if you saw it or not, how you came in, built a program between you and Dodd Heisman, got all new equipment, built your facilities up, and look what you built here at Dynasty. And I tell you what, you've made it difficult for Todd to come in and take over something like that. That had to be a pressure situation for him, but he's done a good job as well.
Todd Schulte is far mature beyond his years, and you know, he was a great player for me, and I knew what kind of kid he was. And when we hired him for the spot, we knew we hired the right guy because he wouldn't change anything. And he came in and just stepped into my shoes, and with the help of all his assistant coaches and a great senior group, these kids made their year. You know, a lot of kids stepped up, kids that you wouldn't think of that were going to step in there and play. They got a good year in the weight room, and here they are again. And, you know, it's an interesting thing when a kid walks on the field and believes he's going to win no matter what the situation is, no matter what happens. And that's how these guys are. They believe they're going to win every game they ever play.
Well, next year we're hoping to maybe cover you in the playoffs. Maybe you'll be back here. I know you got a good nucleus coming back next year, and you had a pretty decent season this year, and maybe we'll see you here next year.
Well, you know, we got a good chance. We were 4-6, and we lost 5 games by less than a touchdown, and I did it with almost all sophomores and juniors. So sophomores and juniors, they find that weight room over the winter. They turn into big juniors and seniors the next year, and we got a chance just like everybody else, so we're pretty excited.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, wait.
Tell Vic we'll see him in Delphos tonight.
Carl wants to know if you're going to Delphos like we did last year.
Ooh, dancing on the bars, huh? Well,
there we go. Rated R again.
I tell you what, we're not going to make it back this year because we know what's going on.
Carl and I will have a pop for you.
Yeah, take care of it for me and have a good time.
Okay, we will. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Vic. Back to you, Carl.
You sure?
I don't know. I'm waterlogged.
Why don't you get your Jughead hat out? I'm still waiting on that. We're not letting this game get over before you put that hat on. Well, a whole series of plays there for Norwalk St. Paul. Didn't get a whole lot, Bill, as again, Scott Stiles having a chance to talk to a guy who had a lot to do with where the Blue Jays are today. Those seniors helped groom those young guys all the way through the lower programs, and finally he's got to be real proud, Coach, when you see your young guys come out when you're coaching another team and getting under the head coaching of a guy like Todd Schulte, who's done an outstanding job, and now it's all come to fruition, I guess the word is.
Yeah, it's been a great year for Coach Schulte with his first year. There's no doubt about that. and you got to give Coach Whiting a lot of the credit, but you got to give Coach Schulte a lot of credit too. And I think a lot of times people overlook that. I know they had a lot of people coming back, and they were expected to do well, but you know, coming in like that, the pressure is there a lot more than if you come in a losing situation. And even though you got the players there and the program in place, that still is not you just don't walk out and do it, Carl.
That's for sure, and these guys are showing why they've lived up to their billing, the #1 team in the state of Ohio, as they continue to eat some of that clock up. Carrying the football, Jordan Bowers for the Blue Jays with 9:19 remaining. Still got a couple of games to be played yet today. Sandusky Perkins, 14-0, taking on Ironton, 10-3 at 3:30. At least at the time we're doing this game. At the time you're seeing this game obviously, those games will be over. But they're playing on this Saturday afternoon. Then a big one I'd like to hang around for, Bill, but we're going to be heading back to town. I'll tell you about that here in a second. On the option, they give it to Bowers, and he picks up what appears to be a first down. I'd like to see that Cleveland St. Ignatius game, 12-2 against Huber Heights. They are 13-1. That game isn't played until Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
That ought to be a great game, Carl. And you were talking about St. Ignatius, number of times they've been in the playoffs. This is something a little remarkable, too. Coach Kyle's record at St. Ignatius is 177-29-1.
It's pretty good.
177-29-1. That's more than pretty good.
But you know what? You still had about, 30 more victories than him? 40 more victories than him?
Yeah, but it took me more than 19 years.
Oh, look at he bounces off. Zach's to the outside. One guy to beat. Nice block out there, but he wasn't able to get by. Zach Weber with another nice run. That will put him probably almost near 200 yards. And about 170. I had too many yards on there. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Wait till they pop up. Nice, we got computerized stats for us here this afternoon, which always helps out. Bill, you don't have to keep all those numbers like you usually do.
Yeah, that's right. It is helpful. Technology, Carl.
Yep.
Amazing, isn't it?
Doesn't get any better. We'll check them here. They're going to be updating in a second. But needless to say, St. John's continues to roll here down to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10. McCormick continuing this drive. Fakes the pitch and then hands it off. And a pickup of a couple of yards.
Yeah, they faked the pitch and tried to run a trap up the middle that time and hand the ball off to Bowers, and he just barely got it, maybe a yard at the most.
They had already updated it, so it was at 140-some, I guess. So it's up to 168 for Zach. He's got 14 carries, 168 yards, compared to Jason Pugh, top running back for Norwalk, 16 carries and just 40 yards. St. John's now with 408 yards of total offense, just 109 for Norwalk. 2nd down and 9. McCormick on the option keep. Look at him go. And his ankle looked pretty good on that carry as he picks up another first down for Delphos St. John's. I'd like to thank a couple more of our sponsors. Cappy Sports Company. Call Cappy for all your imprinted sportswear needs. Raby Ford Lincoln Mercury, Elida Road just east of Delphos. CNG Distributing, reminding you to talk to your teenagers about underage drinking. And Sash and Storm, windows, patios, doors, and more. Some of our great sponsors here on Fox. 1st down and 10, 19-yard line. There's the pitch. Zach Weber cuts it back up the middle and goes down around the 11-yard line. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Zehner came off after a second touchdown. Before the game, we was throwing the ball back and forth early this morning when we got here. And he said, "What's your prediction today?" I said, "I'll say 45-20. And he goes, "How many touchdowns do you think I'll get?" I'll say 3. Well, he came off because that's 2. I got one more get. I said, "You won't get it." Well, he's running pretty hard still, little turkey. I'm going to have to get him, tackle him here down the end zone. I'm going to hustle down this way.
Well, you kind of jacked out, as we've called you.
Pardon me?
We've called you Jack many a times. You were supposed to dye your hair a bright yellow, I believe, today for the game, and you thought all the players forgot it, but they might have. We here knew that you were supposed to dye that head today, and it didn't happen. No comment from Scott. Zach trying to get to the outside, will not. You have anything to say about that, Scott?
Well, I got my hair cut early in the week, and it's just too short to get done, Carl. You know how it is. At least I still have hair to get cut, right, Bill?
There was something else, too. I can't remember what it was going to be. There was something else you had a promise you were going to do, and I can't remember what it was offhand. Maybe it's the hat. Have I seen the hat yet here during?
I can't find Coonsy. I don't know. I think he's in the tent. I think he got tired of walking back and forth, and I think he's in the tent.
You won't be welcome in Delphos tonight if they don't see that hat over there.
I got it in my pocket.
Third down and 3. St. John's at the 12-yard line. We've got 5 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Out of the I formation. This is a handoff to number 64. Now, is that Jackson?
I don't know. I don't think.
I always forget when they, that's Yeager. It says Nick Yeager in terms of the
program.
45 is when they put Jackson in there, so that is Yeager. Nick Yeager, the right guard. Is that right, Scott?
That is right. And he's got a lot of laughs and chuckles over here on the
I always forget, because they're always mixing numbers up on me and stuff. I know that when they're down at the goal line, they throw Jackson in there sometimes to switch numbers and stuff. But that was giving your offensive line, Bill, a chance sometimes. Vic used to do that. Give some of your other guys a chance to carry the ball. They got him back there again, and there he goes. Up inside the 5, down to the 3. It's going to be a first down, and the Jays will be goal to go to get a touchdown here and add to this already 25-point
I'm going to go on a
lead.
limb here, guys, and say Yeager's going to get the score.
Maybe it's been his goal his whole career to get a touchdown or something.
We got timeout White, guys.
We'll find out. We'll let you do your work down there on the sidelines, Scott, and find out what in the heck's going on there.
Okay.
Well, we're down to 4 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. Let me thank a couple more sponsors. We got so many for this game. I want to make sure you folks know who makes it possible that you can watch these replays on Fox. A couple more, and we'd like to say a special hi to the guys from S&K Mowers. Steve over there in Bluffton features Simplicity Outdoor Power Equipment. If you ever want to get some equipment that's Simplicity made, you got to stop over and see Steve at S&K Mower in Bluffton. One of Mike Richards' buddies. Do you know that? Your boss over at...
It's the only one he's got that I know of. You should say it's Mike Richards' buddy.
Only buddy, that's right. And Miller Homes at 3868 Elida Road in Lima. And I think I mentioned most of our good friends here on this rebroadcast this afternoon, and I've got a few more I'm going to try to get in before the game's over with. But if you get a chance, go out and patronize their businesses, because they're making it possible. You get to see the Jays win their 3rd straight state championship. And they're only 4 minutes and 53 seconds away. I'd like to remind you, we're going to go down the field and talk to the players and coaches after the game for our 5th quarter. Then we've got a couple of awards to give out to our players of the game, both on the offense and on the defense. Got some second-teamers in there, Coach, as they give the ball off. And it looks like Bowers got it on the pitch. Jordan Bowers, the junior. And in at quarterback now for Delphos St. John's is Adam Johnson. So it's a chance for the second-teamers to throw some points up on the board.
Yeah, when they took that timeout, Carl, I think it was for that purpose, to get some of those guys in there and give them a chance maybe to get their name in the state record books here and get some points.
Second down and goal to go from the 3. Johnson pitches it back to Bowers. Bowers, touchdown, Delphos St. John's. Touchdown comes at the 4:12 mark of our 4th quarter of play. With the touchdown now, it is 41-10 in favor of Delphos St. John's, and that one has caused a lot of these Norwalk St. Paul fans to start getting an early jump on the traffic. Let's go down to Scott Stiles.
Fellas, you know, this is how you build programs. A lot of teams go throughout the season, and their JV see no action but on the JV level. A lot of these youngsters have seen a lot of varsity action on Friday night, and that's how you build your programs. Look for these guys to bounce right back, continue right where they left off. They might have a little more closer games next year, but I'll tell you what, they have a lot of experience. They've had a lot of chances, the young guys, to play on the field this year. So look for them just to continue the trend and see if next year they can get knocked off somehow. Back to you.
(42-10), Coach, after the extra point.
Well, this game's really pretty much gone the way I think we all expected, Carl. We knew with the style of offense St. Paul plays, and I'm not criticizing them for not changing their offense. I mean, you know, they won all those games doing what they do well, but that style of offense is just not a real good matchup against St. John's with their strength and up front on the defense and the linebackers and you know, their entire defense. So we expected St. Paul's going to struggle being able to move the football. And if you can't move the football and give it to Delphos all night like they have again today, they're going to get points on the board. And, 42-10 is pretty much what we expected, I think, at this point.
I'd like to remind you can see this a second time on our sister station, WLQP, 4 o'clock Sunday. UHF Channel 18, Time Warner Cable Delphos, Channel 6, and Time Warner Cable Lima, that's Channel 12, if you want to see it again. Here's the kickoff, going to be driven all the way to the 22-yard line, returned by Pugh as he cuts it upfield, going to be upended around the 25-yard line. And Norwalk St. Paul, maybe their final shot on the offense for the 1999 high school football season. Hey, high school basketball kicks off next week. And next week we are going to feature Lincoln View at Perry on Friday night. And that will be our only game next week. We're going to take a night off on Saturday because we were supposed to do the St. John's Elida game, but they're not obviously going to be playing. So we talked them into giving us a night off, Bill, before we need some time off.
Yeah.
It's a rigorous schedule. Out of the eye, there's the handoff, and the Blue Jay defense there to stop them cold. And here comes the second team defense, and a big round of applause for the final time for the seniors leaving the field of their high school football careers. They will leave in style. This defense for the seniors played an outstanding game. If you look at it, Bill, in the whole scheme of things, in the big picture, they gave up 10 points. But you got to remember, one was on the first play of the game on that 88-yard kickoff return, and another was just a fumble by the Jays that ended up a field goal. So really, depending how you look at it, didn't give up a whole lot. In terms of total yards, 110 overall.
Yeah, and Jason Pugh, as you said, their main weapon, 40 yards and 16 carries. Another great job by the St. John's defense.
And Bill's got to pick out an offensive player of the game, and he's got to pick out a defensive player of the game today. And I'll give you some candidates. Zach, and make sure the little guys got little shirts today. Zach Weber, good candidate there, huh? 174 yards rushing. Adam Miller's had a good game. He's got 44 yards rushing. Receiving, Morris with 4 catches for 49 yards, and there ain't no way he's fitting in the shirt. Pugh back to pass, McDonald back to pass, looking downfield, and it's going to be caught. Beatty down there, and he gets a nice catch around the 47-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Flyers. See who else is in there, Coach. We had McCormick, the quarterback. Last week was our player of the game. Scott McCormick's got 37 yards rushing in this game as well. He's 8 of 16 passing for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And he's done that on a gimpy ankle too, Carl.
St. John's was ahead after one quarter, 14-7, 21-10 at the half, as Smiley, trying to cut it upfield, will be brought down. St. John's scored 14 in the third. They've scored 7 in the fourth period to make it 42-10. Well, let's get some of these names in here for the Blue Jays out there on the field in the second team defense. We see Greg McCann, number 26. Craig Baldoff, number 23. Number 86 is Jeff Klaus. Number 6 is Keith Fisher. Number 66 is Chad Martin. We see him a lot in there. There's nothing going on there. 77 is Jason Bakke. Number 33 for St. John's is Darren Lozier. Number 18 is Greg Morris. Number 11 is Scott Seaver. Number 63 for St. John's is Corey Rohde. Number 74 is Doug Hempker. Number 80, Matt Siefker. 3rd down and 2, pass play. Nice little slant pattern, going to be caught all the way down to the 20-yard line. Nice play that time, and catching the football was Adam Ensley, the 5'10 senior.
That was a nice play, Carl, but you got to realize this is still St. Paul's first team offense in here. And, I don't mean to be critical of them, but I never have understood this either. When the other team puts their second team defense in, it's a state championship game. I think both teams ought to get some kids in there rather than this score means nothing.
Paul Klima's in there, number 56 for St. John's, as Smiley gets the carry. Let's see, anybody else we need to mention in there?
I was listening to you go over those names. A lot of the names are the same as the guys that went out, just different first names and different numbers.
Yeah. It's like maybe need my binoculars with me, Bill.
Old age does it, Carl.
Yeah, you're right. 2nd down, 3. We're down to a minute remaining. McDonald wants to pass, looking downfield. The lefty fires it, intercepted by St. John's. Gets it out to the 5-yard line, and who got that one? Looked like maybe 86 or 66.
66, I believe.
66 for St. John's is Chad Martin. Chad doing it again, as he's done all season long. Let's go down to little Scotty Styles.
Thanks, Big Bad Carl.
Where are you at?
Chad Schulte just got his bath. They just picked off the interception. Perfect timing by the defense. Everybody's starting to celebrate over here. Parents are hugging each other. A few tears up in the crowd, realizing their senior sons are in their last final minutes of the football game. What a great way to end your senior career. Never been beaten on the football field. How many people can say that? Back to you.
Get your hat out, Scott.
Got it out, Carl.
53. Put it on your head.
I can't.
Go ahead.
That's
all right.
right.
This is the perfect time right now. Everybody's watching. They've been yelling for you the whole game. St. John's with the football now. Johnson goes with a pitch. Across the 5-yard line, out to the 10, 15, down to the 18-yard line. And carrying it for St. John's that time was Ian Weber. And Ian, of course, just a sophomore. As we're down to 46 seconds. We'll go down to the field as soon as this game is over for our 5th quarter, in which we'll do some interviews with some of the players, get their reactions to winning another championship. Coaches, and also award our players of the game, offense and defense. Handoff off right tackle, pick up a couple more, and getting the carry that time looked like number 42, Brad Utrip, and that will probably be our final play of this football game as we're down to 13 seconds. The fans already starting to celebrate. We're down to 8 seconds, and that will do it. Down to 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. The Delphos St. John Blue Jays are your Division VI state champions for 1999. They knock off the Flyers of Norwalk St. Paul. Our final score with the fireworks going off in the background. Delphos St. John's 42, Norwalk St. Paul 10. 5th quarter coming up next on Fox.
Hi, I'm Coach Bob Armstrong here at the Lone Zone across from the Lima Mall. My friends Joe Recker, Amanda Mari, and Chuck Bowen are here to help you with all your financial needs. The Loan Zone offers competitive low rates on home equity loans, personal loans, and debt consolidations. When you need cash in a flash, take it from the coach. The Loan Zone is the place to go. Stop in today or call 331-7000.
Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's skyline time. Gather together with friends and family. It's skyline time. Wholesome, hearty food and a taste that's so divine. Together, at last, it's skyline time.
Do you think you're making a difference? We do. Since you started talking to your children about drinking, teenage drinking is down 45%. To all parents who are making a difference, thank you.
It's a better place to live. It's a better place to live. Thanks to you.
action is. Right in your own backyard. Today, tomorrow, and beyond. Van Wert County Hospital is everything you need for a lifetime of health care. Serving your family with a new medical office building at 140 Fox Road. Come home to the future of health care.
Working wonders for life. Van Wert County Hospital.
Captain has turned me into Santa Claus. We've got to get rid of over 400 used cars before year end as a tax write-off. Captain wants me to even give one away. Buy a vehicle from Tom Aldridge before Christmas and get your choice of a free 3-year lease on a Century and Chevy or free Hyundai Accent. Tax write-off prices on over 300 factory executive program cars is up to 50% off original list. Some with as low as 4,000 miles. Bargains on over 60 minivans, 98 brands of both $13,995. You've got sport use, luxury cars, economy cars, the family cars, sacrifice. So come to Tom Aldridge, where deals are so good you can get one free.
Do you pay too much to heat and cool your home? Your windows are the problem, but a problem easily solved. I'm Dancy Moore for Sash & Storm, and we're giving you an opportunity of a lifetime. Replace the windows in your home for as low as $99 a month with zero down, no payments till $2,000. Imagine a house full of windows with the best warranty available that will pay for themselves by saving you 47% on all your heating and cooling costs. Don't wait, winter is coming. Call Sash & Storm today, 1-800-222-SASH.
Welcome back to Kansas Fawcett Stadium as we are getting ready to watch the Delphos St. John Blue Jays receive their state championship trophy from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Here's Debbie Moore.
You're okay. You're okay.
What do you think about those Blue Jays now? Ladies and gentlemen, standing before us is the fine team from St. John's High School. 3 state championships in a row. Great victories. 44. And they have earned the right to call themselves the 1999 Division 6 Championship Football Team. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to present to you on behalf of all of our member schools this trophy, which reads Division 6 Champions 1999. Congratulations.
Coach, who's going to receive it? Who wants to receive it? There you are, Polly.
The Delphos St. John Blue Jays, your Division 6 state champions for 1999. Going to take this time out and we'll talk to players and coaches for the Blue Jays after these very important words on Fox.
Let me tell you about this supernatural sense of smell I have. It's telling me I can get 5 roast beef sandwiches for only $5.55. Dig that slow roasted aroma. That's horse's sauce. No, wait, that's Arby's sauce. Any way you dress them up, you get 5 sweet smelling sandwiches for only $5.55. And I understand they look pretty good, too.
You can go anywhere and get filled up, but you can only get the 5 for $5.55 deal at Arby's.
Let's face it, cars need oil to run, right? You have to change your oil for optimum performance, so why not have it done at Quick Change Oil and Lube? They'll not only change your oil with top quality Castrol products, but they'll also clean your windshield, vacuum your floor, check all your fluid levels, and check your tire pressure too. Best of all, no appointment is necessary. Quick Change Oil and Lube with 2 locations, North Perry Street in Ottawa and Westwood Drive in Van Wert. Your car will thank you for it.
And at Raby's, we do make it fun again with the all-new 2000 Ford Focus, ready to lead into the new millennium. or be the first in your neighborhood with the newly designed 2000 Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable with the lowest prices anywhere. Plus, if you're ready for a new truck, Raby's will throw in $300 worth of free accessories on all S-Series in stock. It's your choice. Visit Raby's, Allen County's only dual floor Lincoln Mercury dealer in Delphos today. We're proud to be ranked #1 in the uniform industry. But more importantly, we've been voted #1 for 2 years right here in West Central Ohio. Let our dedicated staff make your business look like a winner with our smart and professional uniforms. Your business will look like a winner with professional uniforms delivered right to your door. Our customized entry mats will make a great first impression with all your customers. Keep your employees and your business looking sharp with Van Dyne Crotty.
Just wear it. That's sportswear from Cappy Sports Company, your silkscreen and embroidery specialists. Just design it. Our trained artist will design your custom artwork while you wait. Cheer on your high school team with school jackets and spirit wear from Cappy Sports. Personalize your company logo with our full line of ad specialties items. Come join the Cappy family, locally owned and operated, providing 10 years of quality service to the Lima community. Located at 3225 West Elm Street in Lima.
Pleasant good evening, everyone. Our top sports story tonight, the Commercial Bank. The team at the Commercial Bank works hard at providing their customers with top-notch service. Here we have Cindy handing off the keys for a new car to another satisfied customer. That deserves an instant replay. Other than personal loans, the Commercial Bank playbook is filled with other products and services that are designed to help you do more with your money. Don't pass up this opportunity to become a part of the Commercial Bank team where you will walk away a winner.
Canton's Fawcett Stadium, our football game is over. The Blue Jays have won their 3rd straight state championship game, 42-10 on a beautiful Saturday to win a state championship over the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers. We are here for our 5th quarter, sponsored by the Commercial Bank, and I know that Todd Schulte doesn't want to play more than 4 quarters because that's all you need to win a high school championship. First of all, Todd, congratulations. First-year head coach, already a state championship, and you guys played about as well as everybody expected for today.
Yeah, we played another outstanding game. These kids, you know, they did a nice job. It's a very fine football team. They did a nice job of taking some of our things away in the first half, but we made some adjustments at halftime. We came back out. We got our option going. And, you know, that first drive downfield was big for us. We needed to get our offense in a groove, and that's exactly what we did.
Well, the defense is story again because you got those 10 points up on the board, but you got to remember, first kickoff of the game was 7 points, and you guys fumbled, which led to their field goal of 3 points. So basically, all depends how you look at it, right, Bill? But it's almost like having a shutout.
Yeah, our defense has been just superior all year. You know, the old saying goes, you know, defense wins championships, and you know, that's exactly what they did for us this year. And you know, our offense, we've got a very potent offense. We've got a number of weapons to go to, just like we saw today. You know, Ryan Morris had a great game, Scott McCormick, Zach Weber. You know, Adam Miller had another great game. So we got a number of guys we could go to, and they just played a great game. You know, all year, if we'd ask these kids to make adjustments and do things, they could do it no problem. You know, in the middle of the game, no problem.
And we got to ask you one final question. These seniors, we're going to be talking to some of them here in a couple minutes, but what have these seniors meant to this football program?
They're the heart and soul of this program. You know, we've got great kids there, just outstanding players and outstanding young men, and they've done a nice job of leading these young kids and showing the way and showing these kids how to get to a championship, not only out here on the field when you guys see them play, but also all the off-season work in the weight room, 7-on-7, stuff like that, you know, and that will carry over.
Now, of course, we got to say one thing to you. You know, Vic's won this the last couple of years as head coach. He has a tradition. I hope that you keep going when you get back to Delphos tonight. He's a pretty good dancer, so we expect to see a couple of good steps by you tonight.
I don't dance.
So there'll be a new tradition by Todd Schulte. Congratulations, Todd.
Thank you very much,
and we'll
guys.
talk to you later. Todd, thank you. Todd Schulte, the head football coach. You're going to be bringing some guys in here, one after another. Why don't we just start bringing them in, and we're going to be talking to these players on our 5th quarter. And here's a guy who had 15 quarterback sacks coming into this football game, all over the place as a defensive end, senior Rocky Klaus. Rocky, you've been here before, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
How's it feel now to win 3 of these babies?
It feels great, especially being a senior. Last game, going undefeated, and all throughout 7th, 8th, freshman, sophomore, junior, now this year. It's just an awesome feeling.
And I know for you, Rocky, you look around on that all the defensive players in your team, those guys got to mean a lot to you because you guys are together all the time, week after week doing this, shutting the other team down. It's just a special thing, isn't it?
It's awesome. Just hanging out with those guys, doing everything with them on the weekend and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Now, is there anything you do special after a game like this? Because you already got 2 of these in the books. This is your 3rd one. It's going to be your final one because you're a senior now. So any special plans after a big game like this?
I think I'm just going to go home and party.
Okay, buddy. Hey, congratulations, Rocky. Rocky Klaus, and we'll bring in, let's start out with our players of the game. How about we do that? We're going to start out with our defensive player of the game. First time this year, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir. First one this year, I guess.
Okay, Jeff Fisher, our player of the game on the defense. Now, Jeff, we could go on and talk about the awards that you've received this year. Now, I know that being named the Fox Defensive Player of the Year has probably got to be the biggest honor, right? That all Ohio and all MAC stuff, just throw it away. This is big time, right?
I will cherish this one forever. I guarantee you that. And I had no idea, but, you know, take it as it goes. But it all goes back to your teammates because they help you out, and, you know, I just love them and wish could be back, but, hey, it's over. So
now you're here for a state championship game. You guys coming in against Norwalk St. Paul. You know you beat them a couple of years ago, and it seems like you guys just did what you've done all season long. No changes in there. You knew they had a great running back in this Pugh guy, but same thing you've been doing.
Yeah, we knew he had a good back, but they opened the offense up a little more and a little more passing. But Pugh's a great back, and, you know, you just got to hit him low and stay back in coverage. Couldn't get sucked up too much, so, you know, take it as it goes.
Now, does this feel any different for you, Jeff?
Definitely. It's, you know, it's my senior year. It's my last year, so, you know, you take it to your heart because last year, if we didn't win, hey, you got next year. And now there's no tomorrow, so you got to take it and give it all you got.
And for the